and annual interactions in order to personalize user experience and across the spectrums of trust, from frictionless experiences to blocking fraud. Quick, accurate, and identifying trust decisions, deliver safe payments, account creation, log-in events while reducing digital fraud, and much, much more. Make sure to check out Count.com. That is, as you can see on the screen, KOUNT.com for more information.
Love looking at our production room.
We also, don't worry, if League of Legends isn't your game and you are watching, don't worry. VNN is holding a Fortnite tournament on August 29th and a Rocket League tournament on August 30th for high school players. Players going to be competing for Fortnite and Rocket League for a total of $2,500 in gaming gear, the Summer Bash Trophy, and, of course, bragging rights for their school. Top 3 high schools to have the most students register will receive their share of $3,500 in grants funding towards the esports department. So spread the word. Go to avgl.og/VNN for more information. So, of course, love to see esports branching out to the high school level. A ton of fun there. Just the support we're receiving for esports, just really exciting to see.
And we all know you're not doing anything better right now, especially high school students. We're having a lot of game time, doing a lot of schooling from home, at least locally here. A lot of schools doing in and out. So potential for some socializing as well, getting online with teammates actually gives you a lot of that interaction. Even though it might be online, it's still very helpful in terms of people who are isolated or who have quarantine, things of that nature. So it is really exciting to see all of the tournaments that people have been bringing up recently. It really helps bring the esports community together, which has been so strong for a long, long time.
Yeah, and it's even more exciting to see it continue to grow. And as you mentioned, Charlie, it's more exciting to see esports sort of thrive in this lockdown environment because you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to be with, you can be away from everyone when you're playing video games. So definitely going to be a lot of fun. Everyone being isolated gives them something to do, as you mentioned. So as I mentioned, go to avgl/VNN for more information if you're interested in the Rocket League or Fortnite high school tournament. But right now, we're interested to see if Boise State can pick up their first win of the tournament here in the UCI Best Coast. They are 0-2 and unfortunately 0-4 overall. They have not even won a game, so we'll see if the Broncos can pick that one up. Definitely like how the draft turned out for them, so we'll have to see if they are able to maybe take advantage of banning almost all of Western's comfort picks away. I do like the play Boise State did there in the pick draft phase.
Yeah, you always have to wonder, though, how deep the champion pool goes for a lot of these players. As we know, some of the Boise State players have a more shallow champion pool just because of a lot of lame position swaps and also just getting that cohesion within the team and figuring out what works best with composition. Some people have some crazy picks that don't work incredibly well towards the later game or don't quite work towards the overall goal of the team itself. But I do very, very much like the draft. There was a lot of adjustment, or not a lot, but there was a bit of adjustment there for Boise State. They do have quite a bit of benefit and, survivability for sure in some of the lanes that we've got here. The tough one, though, is certainly going to be Aurelia into the Gangplank if there is no swap in that lane. Boise State might really struggle with that because in my experience, the Gangplank or the Aurelia is definitely a counter there for GP. So a little bit of a struggle in the top, but hey, I was mentioning how the security in the bottom lane is going to allow for Aqua on the Vi to easily be able to roam up towards top and hopefully kind of let that bottom lane maintain itself as the Caitlyn and the Morgana, and hopefully Boise State is able to take advantage of everything they can grab.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what Aqua's summoner choices are going to be as we hop into the game. Well, we've seen him not running flash on things like Graves. Vi could fit into that category. You are able to queue over a lot of the walls in Summoner's Rift, but he's going to play it safe this time, is going to pick up the flash. So no really crazy plays here this time. You will be able to go over walls like Dragon and Baron, maybe steal that. One thing to notice, nobody has Ignite on either side, so it'll be curious to see. The Gangplank Oranges might be able to save him. We might even have Cassiopeia. She does have some of that sustain, but going with the Phase Rush Ascent is, I know Conqueror is a very popular choice on that champion as well. So a lot of healing could come out from both sides here without the grievous wounds to start, so I'll be very curious to see how this opening up, and it looks like right now, unlike our last game, Jolly, everyone's content to just kind of hang out and let their own jungle camps.
Yeah, you know, that might not be a bad thing. As you mentioned, Boise State is 0-4 in terms of matches themselves and 0-2 in the overall game so far for this tournament. So that invasion, of whether it's on their side or on the opposing team side, Western University in this case has not worked out incredibly well for them. And having those summoner spells identical across the board is also slightly confining, but we can imagine with all the teleports we're seeing across the board here, just how much roam we're going to get early on from this team and how much focus there is going to be on these objectives very early on.
Yeah, speaking of the summoner spells being mirrored, the items mirrored across the board as well. The only difference, Loyal having that minion dematerializer. And I will be curious to see when Boise State wants to go for that Grievous Wounds, because there is a Conqueror Olaf on the other team there. So we do see some poke damage coming out. And of course, in chat, you can vote along. Who do you think won the draft here in our game one between Boise State and Western University? Tell us what you think and vote in the chat. We'll have those results in a few minutes. But yeah, I'm going to be curious to see who wants to be able to put that Grievous Wounds onto Cyber and the Olaf, because we know a low health Olaf can heal forever, especially when nobody on Boise State side has any sort of way to stop that healing.
Already a lot of damage there going over to Goblin. It's going to have to be a safe lane for Goblin and Dean down there. They do have a lot of potential going later on, and if we get some good bindings, as we are very used to from Dean, things will go well. But so much early aggression coming from this Karma, as is pretty standard. And if it is a regular for this player, SkyTech, watch out guys, SkyTech, then we certainly have something to be afraid of there. Dean missing the first binding here, and already quite a bit of damage going across to the entire bottom lane of Boise State.
Good job by Lynx there, hitting the force shot on the Goblin. Taunt going to land onto Ascent. He'll take some poke damage as well. Now going to try and chase down Loyal, so they should come out even there. But yeah, the key for Boise State's bot lane, they've got to dodge the empowered shot from Lynx there. SkyTech doing a great job forcing Goblin into range, as you could even see maybe why the Nico was banned. Nico in the clan tag for SkyTech, so you know he's a fan. You see Lynx holding that shot, going to put it on to Dean. Not going to do as much damage though, as we do see Aqua now going to try and charge in for a gank. Heal going to be used. Root still lands onto Lynx though. Flash committed by Goblin. There is a teleport in the back line. Root not going to land. Loyal going to land the taunt onto Dean. We see Ascent coming in as well. It's a party in the bot lane. 4 members of Boise State down there and nothing to show for it but one heal and a flash being blown out there. We do see in the top lane them trading back and forth. J.O.Y. getting the winning trade on that one.
The Ascent teleport coming in a little bit late on that. Red Hots with a fantastic flash there to avoid the slow from Cyber's machete. And now Dean taking a lot of damage, but hey, SkyTech is going to get locked down. Oh!
A great job there by Goblin to pick up first blood. They will trade it though. Cyber held around in the top lane, so that is going to be a 1-for-1, but Boise State going to get that first blood bonus gold, so they'll come out a little bit ahead there. And the kill going onto the Olaf means that Aurelia shouldn't be too much of a pain for Red Hot to deal with. Did get the flash out as well from the Aurelia, so maybe a gank set up for Aqua in the future.
And that is nice after so much pressure was placed onto the Broncos here from the Mustangs in the bottom lane to be able to pick up that first blood. Just a little too much aggression from Western University. Boise State's going to take advantage of it after a bit of a misgank. You know, the teleport committed, nothing really picked up from that. A lot of aggression down here, so Boise State coming out successful, be able to at least back with a little bit more gold than the opposition.
See when looks like the back's being channeled there for Boise State. Unfortunately, Red Hot's only able to pick up a coal and a mana crystal, so he is not going to have a fun time up in that top lane. The Aurelia getting 2 longswords and a dagger, so he is going to have to just be content farming under tower. SkyTech now trying to dive Dean, who did not back. Great use of the spell shield there to avoid the slow 1 tower shot onto SkyTech. So Goblin got the back off. He's going to come back with a longsword, or a BF sword, excuse me. We'll see how long Lynx wants to stay, because Boise State will hold that AD advantage until he is able to back. Right now, Boise State, you see in the CS, winning in almost every lane except bot, but of course that's because Goblin chose to back as the 2 duke it out in the top lane there. Red Hot starting to fall very low. Conquer going to proc by Jay, so Red Hot just forced to disengage. There's this nice dragon there right underneath Boise State's nose, so first Cloud Dragon goes over to Western.
Dean up on his way there to actually throw a ward down towards the Dragon Pit. Western University, unbeknownst to Boise State, able to pick up that first one, and Air Drake feels pretty good at this point in the game with the composition that they've got. SkyTech is going to find itself a binding.
Yeah, root onto SkyTech. Unfortunately, nothing else going to land. Piltover Peacemaker going to miss as well, but it will set up Aqua for a lane gank on the bot side once they get back, as the Aurelia ult's going to be committed. Red Hot's going to get stunned up. No oranges to make it K, and Aurelia going to pick up the first kills. We see Aqua going to dive in onto SkyTech, dropping very, very low. Gets the last E to get a kill. Tower shots, though, going to prevent Boise State from picking up Link. So once again, another 1-for-1. Boise State bot lane picks up a kill in exchange for a top lane kill for Western.
And this is kind of what we were expecting as well, and what I was predicting towards the beginning of the game. It is such a tough lane as a gangplank to go up against an Aurelia, and the cooldown is so long on the remove Scurvy as well that once you utilize it, you can't use it against the ultimate or to get out of her E lockdown. So Boise State, at least this bottom lane, having one of the kills going over to Goblin there. 2 deaths though on the gangplank hurts, but there are still 2 deaths on the Karma in the bottom lane. Nothing yet for recourse for Lynx here, and a really aggressive move from Western University towards Boise State's jungle.
Yeah, I thought like Aqua was going to go over. Now we see a scent flash over. Here comes Loyal in with the ult, and that just felt like Boise State might not have been on the same page. Red Hots is going to pick up Cyber, so yet again another 1-for-1, but we saw Aqua. He charged back in with the Q, then flashed over the wall as a scent flashed over to try and save him. So 1 member left, 1 member went in, and unfortunately Boise State only able to pick up 1 kill. Now it's sent on to Red Hots. He's going to get taunted up as well. He will just fall over, and now Aqua has to be very careful. Dean there as well. Loyal going to get binded up. Aqua goes right back in, going to pick up the kill. SkyTech very, very low. Exhaust going to come out onto the Aurelia. Jay only has so much mana, but it might be enough as Aqua dropping very low. Stun going to land at the last second there, but it looks like he should be able to get away. Boise State and Western very even right now, just trading kill for kill.
Aqua incredibly low, is going to try to push things as far as possible, see if they can bait somebody back in, but no, the recall's coming through, and Boise State should have, a little bit of pressure in the bottom lane, but not if Cyber decides to jump in on this gank.
And Cyber's going to find Goblin out all alone. We'll see if Goblin, he's going to use the heal just to try and kill Lynx. Unfortunately, that last shot going to crit, and Goblin going to go down. So the heal blown in exchange, actually for Lynx's heal as well. That's what kept him alive. But Cyber doing a fantastic job all over the map, encouraging his team. As Lynx now very, very low. We'll see if Dean can pick him up. Root is going to land. There's the W. Couple of auto attacks, and Dean going to pick up another one. It's the 1-for-1 trend continuing as we enter the 9-minute mark.
And Dean feeling pretty good in the bottom lane, sitting 1-0-3, 4 out of 5 kill participation there. Already a bit of roam from Boise State and Western, but Boise State's roam has been a little bit more fruitful aside from, obviously, that Olaf in the jungle jumping in. And now Red Hot's trying to defend this 2v1 under tower. Flashes into the stun from the Aurelia.
And that's going to get hit up by the Aurelia ult as well. We'll see if the tower can help. There's a set. He is going to pick off a very low health. Gets the flash as well. See if he wants to try and chase down SkyTech. He will not. He will just be content to farm. But a great job by Boise State answering any roam that Western has tried to put in. We do see a tower plate going over to the side of Loyal, so that will explain the 500 gold difference besides the 6-6 kill tie there. Cyber now going to get the flash away from Goblin. Black Shield did go on. Dean now going to try and ult, has to flash away. Curtain call going to be used. Cyber will get the kill. Great job blocking the ace into the hole there by Lynx, using that flash. We see Loyal now coming in on the back line. This should be the first time Western's going to maintain the kill lead. Goblin trying to find Lynx there, holding on to that last shot. He's now just sort of running away from Loyal, maybe trying to go to the tower, but he is going to die regardless. Link picks up that one, and Western doing a great job focusing that bottom lane.
Great teamwork coming out here from Western University across the board, and you're absolutely right about Cyber being everywhere that he needs to be at the right times. Lynx saving that 4th shot every time to pick up the kill or to deal the most damage possible to Goblin there. Most of the deaths, though, or at least half of the deaths currently now sitting in the top lane on the gangplank, so still a rough game there. We need to get to the point of roam before Boise State's really going to be comfortable.
I mean, the Aurelia picked up 2 plates along with the 79 CS, so very far ahead of Red Hots there. And part of the reason the gold lead, even though the kills were tied, was favoring Western University. Does look like Aqua able to steal the Rift Herald there. We'll have to trade it, unfortunately, for the Infernal Dragon. And now Aqua's going to try and jump onto Aurelia. There comes the Gangplank. Oh, there's the Assault and Battery as well. Jay is going to be caught out. He is going to be shut down. Aqua now on a killing spree, and that should help Red Hot. We'll see if they're able to get this first tower here. They do have Shelly with the demolish. They might have enough as the Mountain Dragon rises. Boise State trading a dragon for what looks to be first turret.
That is a decent amount of damage onto the plates there. Red Hots is going to take a bit of damage, but that certainly helps with the slight gold disparity that was against them, almost evening out the kills, getting a few plates on their side while Goblin holds off this bottom lane. But we've seen how quickly Western University is able to navigate down towards the bottom, and actually it looks like Cyber is headed towards top, as we can see Shelly there going to help Boise State pick up the first turret of the game and giving them a very slight gold lead now to start.
That should help Red Hot maybe get back even, or at least as even as he can, with Jay in the top lane there. We do see the farm still favoring the Aurelia by 16 right now, and the Blade of the Rune King finish. Still looking for Red Hots to finish that Triforce. Of course, one of the more expensive items in the game if you're not off to a great start. Gonna take you a while to put that one together, but I think as we saw last time Aqua played Vi, Boise State's just gotta play through him. Whatever target he goes on, if they can get a pick, that's gonna be how they're gonna come back in this game.
The problem with that is, even though Aqua has tried to make some fantastic ganks, even without vision, Boise State has been a little too aggressive before Aqua was able to actually engage on these fights, and Western University immediately picks up on that aggression in recognition of a potential gank there coming from Aqua. We know how quickly a Vi can jump onto the back line or assist the team in an engage, and Western University is just not allowing that. And in the meantime, Cyber is able to get everywhere because of the vision control currently being held by Western University. So many vision wards being placed from the very, very start of this game, and Boise State's vision very quickly being taken down as well. But the aggressive vision from Western University is really aiding them in these ganks and in preventing potential ganks from Boise State.
Yeah, and it's also, every time Cyber's gone in and stole Aqua's blue buff, he's had Loyal use the hero's entrance to help him out there. As Jay, once again, is going to jump on Red Hots. The oranges are not going to save him. That's another kill for the Aurelia. Aqua trying to equal it in the mid lane. He will be on a rampage, unfortunately. No assist for Ascent, but Boise State doing a great job in everything but that one fight bot lane. Always securing a kill when Western does to keep this gold lead still in the Broncos' favor.
The CS definitely in a benefit for Boise State towards the bottom half of the map. No surprise, of course, Red Hot struggling in this matchup. Now, Cyber's going to be jumped on by 3 members of Boise State, taking the exhaust. And Aqua continuing that rampage, going to unstoppable here, while Jay is just pushed back. Once this gets to a team fight stage, Boise State needs to start these engages properly. 5-0-1 Vi is fantastic to go into, but if we let this Aurelia get a few more items, it will be very difficult for them to disengage from fights.
Yeah, and Aqua's done a great job sort of baiting out Western, making it look like he's going to disengage and then turning it right back around and smashing right into somebody. So we'll have to see how long it takes for Western to pick up on that if they start of maybe don't fall for the baits there. We now have another poll in chat. Who's more broken? I don't know what the options are. Of Aurelia or Vi would be the options, and it has to be Aurelia. There's a reason the meme Better Nerf Aurelia exists. It's been forever.
Right. You know, and that actually, I think that it was out before. I mean, that's been out since the start, so before she was even reworked here. But now she is even more broken, and there, Goblin getting stunned down. Now the ultimate coming out from Lynx. We got some pings coming out here in the bottom side.
Yeah, Aqua maybe wants
Goblin
to turn
managing to stay alive.
There's the Red Hot ult. There's the ace in the hole. Cyber now sneaking in. We'll see if this evolves into a full 3-on-3. The hero's entrance is available. We can see Loyal setting up and maybe jump down there. Looks like they're going to. Everyone's going to disengage. They'll even up the towers. Western University, that Aurelia, as you mentioned, Jolly. Boise State's got to find an answer before she comes fully online.
She does have Blade of the Ruin King finished, working on the phage there, as we can see, and lots of vision in the pockets of Western University as we can take a look at the map. See Boise State trying to recover from that by placing down a little bit of aggressive vision, as Western University isn't clearing that out quite as quickly as they are on Boise State's side with all of the invades that we have seen. But the aggression coming from every single side of Western University is a lot for Boise State to handle right now, especially with that gangplank currently sitting so far behind that the recovery is almost impossible. More of a utility champion now at this point in the game.
And We do see here, Cyber was hiding around in the tri-bush. We'll see if Boise State wants to do anything. Root is going to miss. Dean going to flash away. Will get rooted. Going to pop the Morgana ult. Should force everyone to disengage there. Ascent and Loyal now going to meet right by the red-blue buff as the Earth Dragon does spawn. Now Aurelia does have teleport. Red Hots does not, and he has no way to stop it. So Boise State could quickly find themselves in a 4-on-5. Right now, Aurelia trying to dive Red Hots under turret. Red Hots doing a fantastic job kiting around. What a play. It does look like, unfortunately, Boise State might have to concede the Dragon here. It looks like Boise State going to give that one over. So soul point for Western, but Red Hot's a fantastic play in the top lane.
More deaths on the Aurelia spells good for Boise State, that's for sure, and Red Hots being able to pick up a little bit in CS, doing a really good job actually of maintaining, not incredibly far behind in CS comparatively, and how much he's been bullied here in this lane, currently sitting at 2, 5, and 3, just finished up the Triforce as we can see there, so Red Hots certainly a top lane lags. Yeah, I've heard that one before.
If I die, it was lag. That's the reason every time in my game. If I die, lagging, sorry.
Every time. But the only player now to have not died is Aqua on that Vi. So currently, you know, even though the Aurelia is more busted in our opinions, Aqua is the most busted player on the board as Boise State picks up Shelly once more.
Yeah, 100% of chat agreeing with us. Very rare you ever get Twitch chat to 100% agree on anything, but apparently it is that Aurelia is at least more busted than Vi. Great job by Aqua, by the way. Even though he's conceded the Dragon, still picking up the second Rift Herald of the game, so Boise State can use that to push. He is caught out all alone. The root going to land. He will dash away. Now Red Hot's going to be caught up. Cyber going to flash in. There's the curtain call. One shutdown already go onto the Jhin. Another kill going to land. Cyber picks off Red Hots, and Dean just a sitting Morgana there. He will fall. A double kill, and Western University, as the ult miss from Aurelia, should have a free chance here to push this T1 turret in mid.
What a fantastic shot as well from Lynx with the curtain call, getting the slow on the Morgana so that they could follow that up with a third kill, sending a double kill over to Cyber. Yeah, a few flashes, or the flash was expended. I suppose SkyTech also utilizing that one, but so much pressure now coming out of Western University, and Cyber as well beginning a lot of these engages. Ooh, Ascent trying to re-engage on this one after flashing in, throwing down the ultimate here, but Loyal is going to respond. And that, I'm not sure if that's an engage I would have gone in on, especially using the flash at the very beginning and then immediately walking away to disengage from that fight.
Yeah, I guess Ascent maybe thought he could catch them napping. Of course, if you're facing the Cassiopeia, you will get stunned. Ascent, Aqua gonna try and find Lynx napping there. Thought he had him all alone. Loyal gonna walk over there, drop the taunt just to scare off Aqua. But yeah, Ascent, I think he maybe thought he could stun onto Lynx there. It did not work. Nice shield there by Dean to block the slow from the undertow there from Cyber. But yeah, right now, Boise State got to find a way to get Aqua on the backline, as you mentioned. If he can get onto Lynx with that 5-1 scoreline in the Yomus, he should be able to take him down, because as we see Lynx 3-1-3, Goblin unfortunately just 1-2-1. So it is Boise State right now, maybe lacking a little bit in terms of bot lane damage.
That gold, not too big of a disparity, though, for Boise State. As you said, the second tower certainly hurting Boise State, and a lot of pressure up there consistently in the top lane means as frequently as Red Hots is trying to move down to get assists or to participate in some of these team fights, immediately the pressure from Western University moving towards that top side or now towards the bottom side as well is hurting them. Teleports on board from just Loyal and Red Hots at the moment. So Ascent and Jay not quite as mobile here, but Loyal also having the hero's entrance makes things really scary for Boise State when they try to engage, when they see what looks like a potential catch out of an enemy player there. Not always the case. Very frequently, Western University is sitting right there in the wings. Their communication is certainly on point in terms of their responses to a player being jumped on by Boise State. And the retaliation and response is not nearly as strong here from the Broncos, unfortunate as it is.
Yeah, that is the one thing, as you mentioned. Anytime it looks like a pick, if Galio is even anywhere on the map, he's going to be able to hero entrance in and make it a 2v1, as we do see Jane now nearly getting caught out. Aqua there in the bot lane, going to just walk away. So that'll be something Boise State has to keep an eye on. And also the Executioner's Calling being picked up on Goblin. That fits the Grievous Wound requirement I was talking about, but that also means Goblin now has to be auto-attacking Olaf. Not sure that's what you want to see if you're Boise State, but right now they're going to catch out SkyTech there. There comes the Red Hots ult. SkyTech just barely alive, able to walk away. Now he's able to get picked off there by the ace in the hole. Curtain call going to come out, and Aqua might be forced to run away there. It will be canceled. Cyber going to pick up one. Teleport coming in. Goblin trying to flash away. He will get taunted. He will go down. Aqua going to re-engage. He will pick up Cyber. Ult onto Loyal as well. Forces the flash as Lynx now going to try and pick that one up. He's going to use heal just for the movement speed. Try and get in range. The crit might have mattered, and Lynx going to pick up that one. Ascent now wants to turn it around. Now here comes the hero's entrance. It might not matter. A shutdown. There's the shield from Sephiroth's Embrace. Is it going to be enough? It will be. Boise State, a great job there, turning that into a 4 for 3.
And as I mentioned, the good scale on Cassiopeia certainly makes things handy. We see the double buff kind of passing back and forth. Ascent ending up with that one feeling pretty good, and a lot of pressure and good responses now from Boise State that we were kind of just seeing from Western University. Getting into the later game, Boise State having more recognition of the items that they have and maybe the imbalance in damage, the amount of damage that they're able to take before losing their own lives. We've got a lot of the lifesteal as well, though, from the Olaf. Keeping that in mind, though, Aqua responding so well to that engage here, and now another jump on from the Aurelia.
Aurelia trying to reduce the amount of Boise State members on the map, chasing down Red Hot's. Aqua, though, going to find him out. Red Hot, once again, the Kite Master, but this time it's not going to matter. Blade Surge going to pick up the kill. This should be a 1-for-1. Unfortunately, Ascent will fall as well, so Boise State going to be down a member. There is the ace in the hole, going to be nicely blocked away there by SkyTech, but this matters because right now it is sole point for Western University, and if they can get this shield online from the Mountain Soul at just 22 minutes, that would be huge. They're going to start up the Dragon, at least make it shoot onto Boise State side. We'll see what the Broncos want to do right now. Nobody committing to the disengage. Curtain call going to be used. Dean expertly dodging, gets hit by the first one. Tries to spell immune, but he will go down. It's a 4-on-2. Cyber now in on the back line, trying to jump onto Goblin. He will fall. Aqua tried to match that, jumping onto Lynx. Unfortunately, more of a backline for Western University, and now this might all be up to Aqua to steal this one, but I don't think he's going to get in range. That is sole point over to Western. They're going to have that shield for the rest of the game.
That means these pushes in lane are going to be insane. Boise State going to really have to keep a close eye on their base as Western University is getting closer and closer, likely able to push for a second tower here. No, they're actually probably going to disengage the rest of the team, kind of setting up around the Baron Pit, throwing down a lot of really good both defensive and aggressive vision, as we can see in Boise State just not able to maintain the sweepers and to keep enough of that vision down to their benefit here. And it seems like a lot of bullying back and forth. Ascent now very much so getting online, feels good, but this Caitlyn not dealing nearly as much damage, and the front line from Cyber and Jay also jumping so quickly to the back line means that Boise State is kind of scattered during these fights. They don't really know who to focus on, and as we saw with that last one, being split apart at the start makes things incredibly difficult for them to try to re-engage after any sort of disengage.
Yeah, and Jay's doing a great job trying to, as we saw in Doxke's the game for Boise State, never take a fair fight. Jay's doing a great job of that, trying to land a pick onto somebody. Unfortunately, it usually is Red Hot just because they are mirroring each other and making it so Boise State's always down a member. They were able to get the elimination there, but we will have to see how Boise State handles this one. I think a Baron attempt might be Boise State's best bet here because, as we mentioned, you can see all of the champions for Western University going to have that nice shield that will scale up in the game. A Guardian's Angel finish by Cyber, by the way. I do love that pickup. The Olaf can Ragnarok in. Once that falls, he might be susceptible to CC, but he'll just have a Guardian Angel to come right back to life.
That's certainly going to be rough with all of the pressure that Western University has on objectives at the moment. That means that while Boise State might feel like they have an advantage at times, Cyber being able to come right back into the fight after using the Ragnarok, or even before using the Ragnarok, and then utilizing it immediately after the GA pops there. Boise State, the Broncos, trying to find anything that they can, but very split across the map. Any of these engages that occur, it has to be at least 4 members there of Boise State. Probably Red Hot's trying to push in a different lane with the ability to teleport and that global ultimate in access there. Boise State occasionally getting caught out, and it does not ever seem to work in favor of them here. Actually, a teleport coming in to follow up the GP ultimate from Red Hot's.
Yeah, Red Hot's teleporting in. Maybe thought they could land a pick with the ultimate. Unfortunately, not going to work, so that'll give full teleport advantage over to the side of Western University. One good thing for Boise State, the Cassiopeia, as we talked about, definitely going to outscale a Galio late game, so there will be more sources of damage online for Boise State the longer we get into this game, so that might be something to sort of help them chip down through that shield, especially if Ascent can be sort of, you know, unopposed when he attacks, I guess is the right word, uninhibited. If he can just sort of free reign and throw those Jade Fangs out, he should do a ton of damage to the backline of Western. So I like Boise State's chances the later and later this game goes. There's, of course, going to be an Elder Dragon on the map in a couple minutes as well. That could turn things around for Boise State. The one thing about a team getting 4 fast dragons, Elder Dragon going to be a lot more impactful in this game than we've seen in other games.
A lot of mobility, too, from Western University on top of the Mountain Soul there. Certainly makes these objectives tough for Boise State to try to focus on. And in particular, having the Galio, the Aurelia, and the Olaf on the front line. As much damage as Ascent is able to deal on that back line, it's getting to it that makes things tough, or preventing being jumped on from the front line on Western University because of the mobility that they currently have with the composition they're running right now. So Boise State really struggling to find their footing on this one, or to find any sort of benefit in this right now. I'm not sure how easy this contesting this Baron is going to be from them. And it looks like 3 members might be making their way up towards the pit. Might not be a great choice at the moment, though, based on who's there, and a teleport is coming through.
Yeah, the GP ult's going to push him up. There's the curtain call. Ragnarok going to be popped. Aqua going to jump right on the back line. There's the hero's entrance. Nobody going to be knocked up by that. Cyber dropping very, very low. Still has the GA that needs to be popped as he barely hangs on. Ascent forced to use the Zhonya's there to start off the fight, dropping very low. Him and Aurelia going to trade lives there. Boise State now has to disengage. Loyal going to jump onto Goblin. They're taking a little bit of poke damage. There comes the ace in the hole, though. The nice shield to block it. Dean tries to flash in, land the binding. The heal's going to go out onto Aqua, trying to keep him alive as Western forced to disengage. Great job there by Boise State matching that Baron call. They missed a blue ward in the river that allowed Boise State to have full vision of what was going on. I think that changed the fight for the Broncos and allowed them to go 1-for-1.
So disheartening having Cyber sitting there at likely double-digit health towards the end, not even being able to pop the GA, so that is still off cooldown at the moment. Ascent being the one to go down. Also hurts, but that means that Western University is certainly terrified of the amount of damage that Ascent is putting out at this point. Sitting really pretty in terms of CS as well, as a Cassiopeia should. And now Red Hots is going to have to flash away from this one. Loyal there, burning the jump in. Boise State getting very, very, very hard push back from Western.
Yeah, Lynx was able to get the slow on the auto attack from the Stormkeeper there, forcing Red Hots to flash, and this is now going to be another Baron call for Western. Unfortunately, this time the Broncos don't have any vision up, and they all just backed as well. They might have to hand this one over. We do see Elder Dragon spawning very, very shortly. Maybe the Broncos think they can sneak in an Elder Dragon with the backs coming off as Red Team picks up the Baron Nashor. They'll have that for the next 3 minutes. The curtain call comes out, probably just using that to try and get some vision, as we see. Looks like Boise State going over to the Elder Dragon, gonna try and burn it. Cassiopeia, a ton of PvE DPS. We'll see if that's going to matter. They end up picking it up. We'll see if they can use it to execute anybody. Goblin going to be the first one to fall. Now here's entrance going to be committed. Aqua will fall for the double kill. Boise State now trying to back away as the Crucial Dragon and Elder Dragon and Baron timers are at the top of your screen. Boise State right now unable to use that Elder Dragon, unfortunately, and we'll see if any of them can hold on to it. Ascent going to get caught out now. 3 members chasing him, and this might be a dead snake. Unfortunately, doesn't look like he's going to be able to land anything there, so unable to use the Elder Dragon, just seconds away from it proccing onto Skytech. So Boise State down to just 2 Elder Dragons, unfortunately.
Western University maintaining their Baron buff, but we can see how much pressure they're now able to put on having those Baron empowered minions. Absolutely so close there for Boise State. A really impressive thing currently from Western University, though, is I was talking about their front line being so crucial, and at the moment they're doing an incredible job of swapping aggro, engaging and disengaging in turn, so that Boise State has to focus somebody else, deal a ton of damage and get them very, very low, but the aggression swap allows Western University and the Mustangs to get off as much damage as they want there. We can see the shutdown coming through from Dean as Ascent goes down a little bit earlier on there.
Yeah, great job catching out Lynx in the jungle, trying to steal the Boise State red buff, so that is going to help. Unfortunately, no objectives are on the map for Boise State to take advantage of that pick, but it will definitely help to shrink that gold lead down to just about 400. Someone in chat, I do agree. That is a very angry Viking bro right now, and it's a Viking bro that, by the way, gets 2 lives because that GA still yet to be procced by Boise State, so Cyber going to have a second chance at life if he does fall in one of these fights.
And now with the Spirit Visage as well, trying to maintain against Ascent's damage, as that is certainly the most ferocious thing on the Broncos team at the moment here. Vi on Aqua, or Aqua on Vi, doing a great job of starting these engages, and it seems like Boise State is much more successful when they begin the engage as opposed to responding. They tend to get a little bit cloudy-minded, it seems almost, as the aggression and the placement of these players is a little askew. We saw Ascent kind of getting caught out after the disengage from that Elder Dragon fight. Western University able to find 3 members to corner Ascent there. So not, not horrible for sure, but a little bit disconcerting in terms of their responses here to Western University's aggression.
And Lynx gonna try and find out Dean. Good job using the spell immune on the Black Shield there to avoid any roots. We do see that Aurelia 4 items, with the GA. So 2 GAs Boise State's gonna have to deal with. But one good news for the Broncos, they do have a very good farming team, so they should be able to keep their inhibitor turrets and at least their inhibitors alive with the Cassiopeia and the Gangplank. A lot of AoE damage there. So any push from Western that doesn't result in a kill should mean the Broncos just gonna pick up some extra gold there. Maybe be able to find their way back, as we do see they are down 500 gold. There's a little bit of chip damage coming out. Lynx doing a great job using that Storm Raider proc to slow. Right now, Aqua, though, thinks he finds Loyal all alone in the backline. They're going to commit the assault and battery. There's the redemption coming out. Aqua's going to pick up the kill, just what Boise State needed. Now with that pick and no heroes entrance, we'll see if they want to continue the fight. Curtain Call going to be committed there. Looks like a full disengage. They've got a block for Aqua. Looks like they're going to do a great job of doing that. Boise State, great job using that Vi to get a pick on a solo pushing Galio.
And that's exactly what Boise State needs to continue to do here as Western University pushes into the base. We can see an engage there from Aqua. Boise State dealing a lot of damage.
The teleport going to be committed. The GA is going to be blown, but it will cost Aqua his life. Jay's now going to want to jump in. Double kill for Lynx on the back line, and Boise State going to have to try and run. Jay's going to pick up one. Skytech, the member to flash over. Not who I expected it to be, the Karma support. But Boise State, unfortunately, going to be pushed back in their base. Good news for the Broncos, though. No objectives up, so it should just be an inhibitor turret in the mid that they will lose. But Cassiopeia might be able to do enough to hold off the inhibitor.
And a lot of flashes down as well. Western University actually not having a single one up at the moment. Cyber will be the next to be able to utilize that summoner spell. Now the first inhibitor of the game going to be going down. Boise State trying to defend this base. It looks like Western University wants to focus towards the top side, get pressure on every lane, as the split push tactic has been working incredibly well for them. Boise State so far behind in certain aspects there on damage that Western University is taking advantage of, forcing them to split up so that Western University doesn't get too big of a push in any one lane into the base, since they've already broken through that. The amount of vision as well that Western University now has been able to place once you push that far into the game and not allowed the other team to oppose that by using their own pressure. Boise State really just completely on the defensive for the last several minutes here after that Elder Dragon fight. But this is the moment now for them to try to get a little bit of recompense for what just happened there to their base.
And we do see the one thing with the 2 major objectives dying at similar times is that they are both going to spawn at very similar times as well. So we'll be curious to see if either team prioritizes a Baron or an Elder Dragon, how they want to try and set up their vision around those objectives to prevent the other team. You would think it's got to be Boise State playing on the back line here. It just feels like Western pushing them down. So getting that vision on Baron, getting that vision on the Elder Dragon going to be very, very key. We do see Gangplank finishing that Infinity Edge, but right now Skytech going to be caught out there. There's the hero's entrance, but it's not going to be enough. The rest of Western trying to re-engage here. Teleport going to be committed. Looks like they're just going to blast cone away as the GP ult is used. We'll see if Boise State wants to continue the fight. Blue Trinket going to give away their location. Cyber now throwing some undertow axes out, trying to land a slow. Here comes the curtain call just to stop any Boise State advance. All of those landing onto Red Hots. He's going to be dropping very, very low, but the redemption from Dean's going to heal them right back up, and the engage might be back on right now. The two teams dancing around the Elder Dragon. Goblin going to put a little bit of damage on. Will get shot out there by Lynx. Force shot being held by the Jin. Boise State respecting that one. Will hit on to Red Hots right now. It does look like the Aurelia doesn't have teleport, so has to get all the way back in the fight, and Karma's still dead. Boise State now looks like they may be caught out here. Root going to land onto Cyber. Jay now in the backline. He sees a low health Dean. Link's going to cleanse that stun immediately from Ascent. Going to be forced to use Lasagna's Hourglass. Aurelia in the backline there. Unfortunately, 3 members going to go down for Boise State. 4 and Goblin should unfortunately make it 5. An ace in a 4v5 for Western, and that should be game.
Absolutely, the teleport into the base there from Loyal, as we can see Western University feeling like they don't even need to go help out this Aurelia on the Nexus, or the Galio. But Boise State really falling behind every single time they had a great opportunity for an engage and went to move in on it. Western University just has the range, and we can see Lynx every time using the curtain call to push them back. Boise State responded exactly how he wanted to as well every time, of attempting to disengage, taking that slow, and allowing the rest of Western University to jump in on the fight. And that means first game is going to go over to Western University. Boise State continues the streak.
Against the wall. It seems impossible, but there's nobody else on by my side, standing with me to take this fight through the rise and fall. With our fearless hearts, we could be ours, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends. If we all go down, if our time is now, we could let everyone know we were here. We could be legends. We dream so colorful. Oh, we love so strong. The world is relentless, the city won't sleep. It hardens your soul, brings you to your knees. But we can face it all. With our fearless hearts, we could be ours, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends. If we all go down,
Hello and welcome into the Boise State Esports Twitch channel. I am Michael Fisher, but that is of course not me on the screen. As we do have a lovely opportunity tonight for the Boise State League of Legends team. A couple of players able to get in and experience the arena for the first time this year. Of course, you could see there they do have the shields up between each other, masks are on, and of course a couple of computer spaces in between as well. So making sure we are taking as many precautions as possible, but still allow the players to experience the arena. We know it's awesome when everyone's there, when it's all rocking, but we'll take 2 of the 5 of them in here tonight. Red Hots and Goblin going to be representing for Boise State. It is a show match tonight for the Broncos, taking on Dixie State, seeing if the Broncos can pick up their first win of this League of Legends season so far. Of course, in the UCI Best Coast tournament, which we'll have more of tomorrow, has not been the best for the Broncos so far, but we'll see if they can get on the right track tonight against Dixie State. Of course, I will not be all alone. I'll be joined by my co-partner, Adam Chizu McGuire, via the power of the internet. Chizu, what is up? How are you doing?
Dixie State League of Legends crew inside on the blue. I love to see this. So that alone is giving me the good vibes kind of feeling. Just glad to be here as always. As you mentioned, it's been a little bit of a bumpy road for Boise State, but you know what? Put the rally caps on, buckle up, buckaroo, and let's go. So I'm excited to see what Boise State has. I'm wondering if the location situation maybe breathes a little bit more life into the crew that is currently there, but very excited for tonight's games regardless.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. Now there will be one not new name for Boise State, but a new name for the year. There will be a change at support. Dean not going to be in. Night Carry, now known as AD Carry, which is kind of ironic since he will be supporting. He will be in tonight in the bot lane for Boise State. But yeah, as you mentioned, I would love to see if Red Hots or Goblin pop off, if it really is that arena vibe, even though it is empty, that maybe can will the Broncos to their first win of the season.
Absolutely. We know everybody in the Twitch chat will be cheering them on as well. Again, Boise State versus Dixie State. And we need to remember, we have seen AD Carry before, as you said, formerly Night Carry. Dude is aggressive. Yes, he may be playing the support role, but you of all people, Fish, especially as my lane partner, should know how an aggressive support can pretty much change kind of the pace, the tempo, as well as for good and bad reasons, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to allow you to start a fight. It might not be the fight your AD Carry wants, but it's going to be interesting to see how that style maybe matches up. Of course, we've seen Dean usually on those more enchantresses. We've also seen a lot of Braum, who's not as hardcore engagey, but can definitely protect the team. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, Chizu, how the support choice for AD Carry goes, as we do have 2 players, as we mentioned, in the arena tonight for Boise State versus Dixie State here in a show match. Goblin and Red Hot's going to be up on stage. So should be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of interesting things to see on the Rift. I think there was a lot of positives last week, Chizu. Even though we said Boise State hasn't found a win, I think some players starting to find where they're comfortable. Of course, we have Red Hots up in the top lane, Aqua the new jungler, and Ascent the new mid laner. So I think they're starting to figure things out, Chizu. I would not be shocked if Boise State gets out on a right foot tonight.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things you have to consider, too. I like to talk a lot about the psyche, being tilt-proof. The world has been a tilting factor, and that's why I brought up, being back in the arena where they have spent so much time up to this point. Yeah, maybe communications are going to sound a little muffled because, you've got a mask over your face kind of situation. But it's, I don't know, one of those things where if I know the Boise State crew, they're not taking it personally, and if there is a time for them to bounce back, it will definitely be today as they have their players, just set and good to go. And again, it's going to depend a lot on Night Carry. Dean, a very pivotal piece, one of the major components of the Boise State lineup, if I was to be so candid. But again, all of those components have to come together, form Voltron, or it all falls apart.
Yeah, and I'll be curious to see, since it is a show match, if we do see 2 of the new champions on the Rift that we haven't seen anyone play in Boise State's game with Yone and Lilia. I'll be curious to see if anyone wants to bring it out. I'd love to see it because we don't get to see Yone on the professional level due to some very wonky rules and patch releases, but he is live for collegiate. He is live in the UCI Best Coast tournament. Just no one's played it. So I would love to see a Yone come out here tonight, especially since it's a show match, show what Yasuo's brother can do. But I'll be curious to see as we get into picks and bans, maybe a team considers that and bans him away.
Well, absolutely, and we do know that Boise State does have some aggressive players that like to do some crazy things, if you will. Wouldn't be surprised if this is like a new pocket top pick for Red Hots or something like that, since they kept banning away his Rumble up to this point. And it was one of the things that I talked to. There you go. There's that Rumble ban. I was talking to Red Hots and Ascent before the game even started. Hopped into the chat and was like, "Hey guys, how we feel?" And they were actually, for a team that's been, showing signs of struggle, very positive. The PMA was there, positive mental attitude. So you got to give them credit for that as we continue on here with the bans. Seeing yet another one, Rengar and Pike going to be removed. So some assassins as well as the Twitch right now.
Yeah, the mid laner for Dixie State actually loves himself some Pike, a very interesting support that actually works in the mid laner. And then the top laner also plays in the jungle. Black Solo Cup loves his Rengar. So definitely some pocket pick bans on the side of Boise State. You see the Twitch taken away by Dixie State. Aqua's played that phenomenally. And then the Bard ban. That's sort of an interesting one. Just an all-around strong support. Didn't show up much in the match history for the support for Dixie State, but nobody likes a magical journey into a stun against the wall, so I totally understand for the Boise State side.
That's like an LCS ban. And speaking of Senna, this is one of the things that I was going to bring up, is that I absolutely love when you have that Senna support, especially with you teaming up with some kind of very aggressive enchantress, like a lot of the Sona that we were talking about earlier. So not gonna see it, unfortunately, but again, we'll see where they go from here. I'm being told that may not be an actual Teemo lock-in, although I was super hyped because that is a pretty, I'll say, brave start to a draft.
Yeah, I was all hyped for the Teemo, but yeah, we're hearing in our ear, might not be Teemo. That Leona, I would have to assume, is legit. You're talking about aggressive supports, Chizu. Dixie State taking your word for it. That is a very good support in the bot lane. Can all in engage. Does have to commit herself, sort of like a Blitzcrank. So be curious to see how that's played for Dixie State.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm being told the Teemo is actually a Yone. It's in the chat there, as everyone can see. Sorry, we're on a little bit of a delay there. So that's awesome. You guys could do some Photoshop, some MS Paint for a Yone. That would be awesome, because you're probably going to see it more times than you'd like to count. King going to be picked up there, and of course, no surprise there, Caitlyn. Just basically one of those basic ADCs. That 6 stack, the headshot really hurts at pretty much all points in the game. Also, Ace the Hole works out just fine, depending on the situation, unless somebody big and beefy jumps in the way, and even then sometimes it still shreds.
Yeah, and then of course the Morgana being picked up there as well. Caitlyn Morgana has been a power lane basically this entire year. It's seen some ups and downs, but something Boise State's tried in the past as well, so can't go wrong with that, even with the new support of familiar lane. And then the Lucian pickup for Dixie State, their last one in the first round. An interesting AD carry. He's seen his play, but not something you see very common, usually an Ashe or something like that, so be curious to see maybe why that was picked up for the side of Dixie State.
Just because of, again, we're talking personal experience between you and I recently, that Lucian could very well be going mid. I'd be surprised if they flex at top. They definitely could, but one of those champions that you can't go any one of those lanes, and really shred. It does max well with the Leona, the lockdown and the follow-up damage is typically there, and then you see, yeah, a couple of mid laners banned out, so that might be what we're looking at here. I'm not positive, as we see Renekton and Silas, the next bans on the table.
And the Zoe taken away as well, something Ascent has played a lot, of course, with his Rumble being taken away almost every game. He has experimented on the Zoe, but I will say good news for Boise State. As I mentioned, they showed some good signs. I loved Ascent on the Cassiopeia last week, and that is going to be on the table for him, so I would love to see Boise State run that back, and then Fizz being taken out, so you can definitely see Boise State did not want to deal with any assassins on the Dixie State side, banning 3 of the more prominent ones away.
Yeah, and the mid lane won the Fizz. Again, that's just more of a draft situation. One of the interesting things when looking up this Dixie State team is that they have 2 people who, in theory, could flex between, I believe it was jungle and top, based on their win percentages. It looks like maybe that's not necessarily their main roles, or that they flex it around. So, you have 2 sets of input here. Maybe just get rid of the assassins. Get rid of those high, technically challenging champions. And it's like every time I say something, they pick one. Akali there, again, a very high aggression, high risk, high reward champion. She's got to get some kind of ball rolling, and if she doesn't, can fall off pretty hard. Can claw her way back in, but does require a mechanical prowess that hopefully Dixie has.
Yeah, you see the Malphite pick there for Boise State. So giving Red Hots that sort of beefy tank in the in the top lane, the engage as well potentially. You could maybe see Malphite in the jungle if you want. As we said, that Teemo is actually a Yone, so don't get too excited if you see Teemo and you're just joining us. That is actually a Yone. So be curious to see where Boise State wants to go. We talked about it all the time, Chizu. The Broncos can flex things really wherever they want, so I'll be curious to see where this Yone Malphite Azir is sort of setting up to go.
Yeah, and that was kind of the one thing. I'm really loving the Azir plays that I have been seeing, not only here in Collegiate, but just like, LCS, LEC, things of that nature. Just his slippery nature. You mentioned the Cassiopeia, the way that you get in and out with the Shurima Shuffle, boink a bunch of people back into your team, and suddenly they can't get back out. It's kind of hilarious, especially towards those dragon fights, those main objectives as far as the Baron. And as we continue on, final lock in there, Shen, no real surprise there, pretty solid top laner. Great teleport presence, as well as objective control if played correctly.
Yeah, so this should mean that it is Lucian in the bot lane. Yeah, as we do see some people in the chat talking about the Akali-Azir matchup. I'll have to be honest. I mean, it seems like there's people on both sides saying one player, Azir always wins, Akali always wins. If the Azir knows how to control his statues and his soldiers, I should say, he usually is going to come out ahead because he just gets that range poke that can wither an Akali down. I'll be curious to see if it's Conqueror or Fleet Footwork from the mid laner for Dixie State. It is Doc's keys to the game, though, for League of Legends. Good mid-jungle synergy. Play for those objectives, value over time, and never take a fair fight. That'll be a difficult one, as Shen for Dixie State is going to have two ways to get into the fight. This is all brought to you by Count. If you're ever worried about your online security, fraud prevention, you want to check out Count with a K. Their Identity Trust Global Network enables personalized customer experiences for over 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. Linked with their award-winning AI, they analyze signals from 32 billion annual interactions in order to allow you to personalize your user experience across the spectrum. So we're online a lot nowadays. If you want to be safe, go to countwithak.com, KOUNT.com, to make sure you are safe when you're buying things online. We do have a poll in the Twitch chat. Who you think won the draft? Tell us what you think. Vote right now, and we'll get those results. Chizu, what's your vote? I don't want you to sway Twitch chat, but I am curious who you think won the draft.
First off, I just wanted to commend you. You've really been practicing your P's and Q's and K's and T's. That was pretty crisp. Good job there, man. And again, the NACE Coach of the Year as well as Production Team of the Year, making everything look so good. As far as the draft is concerned, which way do I lean? It's very hard, especially at this level, to basically say this is what's going to happen. As far as like mechanics are concerned, you can look at the draft and be like, yes, this is going to be there. This is going to, be the situation up until level 6. I live by the any team, any day mantra. Now, there are going to be individuals who say, look, Boise State's on a slump. Is this going to be another one? As far as the raw draft is concerned, I just didn't see any major glaring issues. I just like the complete kind of like lockdown and go that Boise State had, from the Caitlyn traps, the Malphite, to the Azir. Again, that's just kind of more my style of play, so that's where I personally am leaning this time around.
Yeah, the one thing that would make me side for Dixie State, and I sort of mentioned it there, is the ability for the Shen to have two ways to get into a fight, either the Stand United or we'd have to assume the teleport. Very unlikely the Shen doesn't bring teleport, because Malphite can stop one of them with the ultimate. He could stop one of those casts. He can't stop a second one. So that is kind of where I will say Dixie State does have two ways to get into a fight, or they can pick two fights back-to-back, and Shen can be in there for both of them. But other than that, I do side with you. I like the rest of the Boise State draft. This is Boise State versus Dixie State in a League of Legends show match. As we mentioned, Boise State trying to find their first win of the season and maybe off to a good start. At least Chizu and I believe that most of the draft favors Boise State. We do have two players in the house tonight. They're Red Hots up in the top lane, and then we do have Goblin as well, the AD carry, both here in the arena, getting a little bit of that feeling back. Of course, we're still trying to be very cautious. You see face masks on, you see dividers between every computer, and even then, still allowing another 2 computers of space between the players. So taking it all very seriously, but trying to get back into that rhythm of hopefully being able to open everything up. As you do see on your screen there as well, one change for Boise State. Dean not able to play tonight. Night Carry going to be in the bot lane. Going to have the name AD Carry, which is sort of ironic since he's supporting, but that will be the one change for Boise State, a new support, but I think the Broncos still might be poised for some success.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, something you kind of have to consider too, is that with this new mix-up, we could be seeing something completely different from Boise State. I mean, just the draft alone is super fun, super aggressive. You got to remember that Yone is just a kind of carbon copy of Yasuo, and everyone fears that whole Malphite Wombo combo into the rest of the damage that procs there. And again, if they land in those Azir soldiers, it's going to be a rough day for whoever it is, no matter how tanky you are, no matter what the situation situation is, but Boise State does have to get off to a strong start. From what I've been watching on the games that I haven't been casting, that's where things kind of, I don't want to say fall apart, that's where things usually fall apart at the beginning, but it's been a little rocky and very uncharacteristic of the Boise State early game. Very weird, like level 6 ganks, teleports, things that just need to be cleaned up, and I think Boise State has some good things running for them. But again, we just haven't seen Dixie State, so I don't have much to run off of.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how Dixie State, as we talked about, 3 assassins banned away by Boise State, and Dixie State still said, we're going to pick the Akali. I think that's going to be the lane to watch, because if Akali gets ahead, she can roam wherever she wants. If she brings teleport or ignite, she can be that sort of secondary jungler. And I'm going to be curious to see if it is Azir in the mid lane. Can he lock him down? What mastery is it going to be from the Akali? I used to like Conqueror, but I think I've sort of sided with the fleet footwork. You grab the Doran shield, you're able to out-sustain the harass. So I am very curious to see how that mid lane goes. And I think whichever mid laner wins, if somebody said in chat, probably going to be the one who can sort of roam around, maybe make their presence known. I think that's where the matchup's going to come down to. As we saw Doc seize the game, mid-jungle synergy, maybe we see an early gank as well.
To be completely honest, the only thing I ever care about when I see an Akali in game, whether on my team or the other team for that matter, is I just need to see a cross map tumbling off of the E. That's all I need, and I'm happy either way, win, lose, or draw. So that will be one of the situations though where the roam pressure comes from if they take the teleport. I think just going up against Ascent alone is going to be quite difficult. This guy's got a lot of mechanical skill that I've been, taking a peek at. So curious to see. Again, sure, the matchup is one thing, but the player stance is going to be a completely different scenario. So here we are, jumping into game number 1.
Yeah, we do see it is going to be the Yone jungle, and we've talked about Aqua very, very aggressive, what he was known for before joining Boise State, and Yone jungle no different. And then we were talking about the Akali Keystone's going to prove everybody wrong. Grappa will bringing the Electrocute, something that was played a lot on Akali early. Then they realized, wait, Conqueror gives you like unlimited sustain. So this Akali going to be very squishy, but very glass cannon. He might be able to have the burst, but I'm not a fan, so I really am now on Team Ascent right now. I think he's going to have a fantastic time in the mid lane.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case. Again, we will see what exactly happens. And you mentioned Conqueror as somebody who's been messing around with other lanes as a support main. Conqueror is like my new favorite thing in the world. Like, I just want to run. It's like the new Dark Harvest on ARAM. I just want to run Conqueror on everything and see what happens. So that I do agree with you there. But again, if it's the playstyle you prefer, it's, apples to oranges kind of stuff. So we'll see how it unfolds here as we get the nice leash here from the Boise State bot side to make sure that Aqua can get up and go in as quick as possible.
A couple other summoners to point out here in the slow early game. Boise State should have teleport advantage all the time. Ascent and Red Hot's bringing in the Ignite on the mid lane, and then the Cleanse on Goblin, of course, something you want to bring against the Leona, potentially against the Shen as well. So curious to see how that will work out for the Broncos. No Ignite on their side, so Grievous Wounds, especially if it's Red Cane, going to be something to keep in mind.
That's always a feel-good start right there. Hitting the binding, level 1, your AD gets in there with a couple shots. I love that, and immediately Boise State will take their presence in this bottom lane. And this is kind of what I was talking about. You see Ascent immediately drops the soldier, some extra poke damage, and then you've got the, we'll say, giant islands smacking each other with wet noodles. I think I say that every time. That is top lane between this Malphite and Shen. This is probably not going to mean anything until one of these junglers prioritize or we hit level 6.
Yeah, this probably won't mean anything as a taunt does come out until, as you said, somebody hits level 6, but Red Hot's dropping very low, going to have to disengage. Yeah, somebody's going to have to teleport in or ult in Shen's case. That's when we'll see these two maybe leave their island, but Red Hot's right now definitely taking a lot of poke, but the minions help him out. He's got to be careful he doesn't let that Shen maybe pick up first blood with that Grasp of the Undying, because there's some sneaky burst on Shen for being a tank.
Oh, AD carry. I wish I was you, my friend. It hit another beautiful binding there from quite a distance away. Going to allow them to put some pressure onto that first turret here. Boise State looking good as far as lanes are concerned. I mean, aggressive, but good. This Kane shows up anywhere. He may have himself a free little snack. But we take a look as Red Hot gets jumped on here, taunts down, as well as the damage negation. Red Hot has to turn tail and kill out.
Yeah, running, no charges left on that Corruptor Potion. Use the Biscuit as well. We'll have another one being delivered to him, but he's got to be very careful. But we do see Aqua's coming behind him. This might be a reverse tower dive for Boise State as the taunt comes out.
Oh, man, that taunt came out in a weird spot. So, unfortunately for the Shen, gonna pick up the first blood, sure, that's great. But puts himself in such a spot that it actually denies the Yone from any kind of assist goal. So there's actually a positive there, as well as there's no chance of surviving in any way, shape, or form. So kind of a weird interaction there as he goes through the turret, locks himself in the corner. And look at that, 80 carry hitting yet another one as we pin down the 5.
Yeah, he has 100% accuracy, but we do see the flash and the teleport coming out.
And it looks like, yeah, Leona coming in there is going to be able to put down a little bit of damage. Out comes the exhaust, but it's not going to be enough as 80 carry is going to go down. 4-man party, beautiful flash there from the Goblin Man himself. And if he stays, he might be able to get a little kitschy shot here. The Q almost clips that Lucian there, is not going to be able to do so, but a flash expended teleport from the top side. So yeah, it may not have been, you know, a level 6, but we did see a teleport immediately burn here for 30. And now Red Hots is on the hunt as Guppa is going to be pushed out here on the top-hand side.
This might be an actual lane swap from the side of Dixie State as we see Shen now in the mid. Maybe Guapa not having the easiest time. He was down 10 CS, so it might have been the reason he teleported bot lane is because it looks like the lane swap might be on for Dixie State. Very, very curious that Guapa lasted 4 minutes and 50 seconds against the Scent before saying, please, someone, get me out of this matchup.
Help, I need a friend, someone help me here. This is not a good time. And so yeah, an interesting change there. It can allow for this Akali to at least make up for whatever happened. Again, 5 minutes in is a pretty quick time to call for that switch. I'm not their coach by any means. Red Hots, again, just is going to be bopping and dropping here on Guppa. And that stealth not going to do much when he's slamming the ground around you anyways.
Yeah, I guess you could say it kind of punishes Red Hots because he did go cloth armor, assuming a Shen would come back, so he won't be as bulky against an Akali, but I'll be curious to see how long this lasts. And maybe that was just because the teleport came out because Black Solo kept walking back to the top lane. So a very interesting, hey, just hold my tower, don't let him get any plates move there from Dixie State, but it worked out for a kill. And now with the Bombi Cinder, Shen should be able to push and maybe keep Red Hots under his turret, but we'll have to see here. Also very interesting to note, the first item, Berserker Greaves from Aqua. So he's going to attack really fast. Might not have that much damage, though.
Listen, you're a samurai guy, you got a couple swords, you want to hit people with them. I mean, that makes sense to me. Maybe the numbers don't add up, sure, maybe there's more effective things, but he is down here on the bottom side looking for something, and his kit is just ridiculous. He's able to put in damage and jump on back, but it looks like he is going to be here. He is going to follow up there with the ultimate, and now the fight breaks out even further here on the bottom side. Boise State's health bars are virtually non-existent. Black Solo Cup going to pick up one there. Another one, Ascent is going to be able to put some damage on, finds one as he falls as well, and it looks like that is going to be a double kill there on the bottom side. What was initially a 3-on-2 turns into a 4v3 in favor of Dixie, and Boise gets annihilated.
Yeah, this is the one thing that I was mentioning in the top lane with Shen having 2 ways to get into fights. He stand unites in. Red Hots did not have the teleport available. It had the unstoppable force, but it's not that far, unfortunately, from the top all the way to the Dragon Pit. So great job by Dixie State playing to Shen's out, using him as much as you can with the global pressure to start fights. I like how they're using this Shen right now, even if they are going to allow Red Hots to sort of free farm in the top lane. What a great play by them, and Boise State still picking up a kill, though. That does make it a little bit better as opposed to just losing 4 for nothing.
I mean, sure, yeah, it looked like Red Hot's got some damage there on the top-hand side. Did not have teleport to make it into that fight. Probably one of the key factors to what went wrong, if you will, but it looks like Gummy gonna get hit there by the Malphite, and just, again, trying to save these lanes. We gotta be careful, because Hillboy here with Guppa, they are hungry.
They are. We'll see if a Zenith Blade can land. Goblin not having the cleanse. Going to try a 90 caliber net backwards, but he is going to get rooted there. Night Carry trying to do what he can. Unfortunately, Guapa going to pick up one. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Unstoppable Force going to come out onto Gummy Hat. I don't think you're going to get away from that one, Lucian. So Boise State with a nice 1-for-1 trade at least. Unfortunately, going to lose Goblin in the process.
Yeah, that was a little interesting because the Black Shield did come up, and then the Zenith Blade still managed to pull the Leota forward. I didn't necessarily realize that was the interaction. I thought it just stopped it. Then somehow follow-up CC still came through, so it's a matter of just a split second. That was a little curious. I'd love to see that replay, actually. But, hey, traded over, and Red Hots didn't need any of the help, if you will. So that feels a little bit better.
Yeah, and these lane management by Dixie State has been very unique. As you saw, they put Lucian, they said, all right, we know Shen's coming down for something. Let's just put Lucian up in the top lane. Now we see Shen's going to start walking back up there. So it's been very interesting. Dixie State very hesitant to let Red Hots have any sort of free plate damage, even on a tank like Malphite. So it's been very interesting, and that time it did cost them there with the death of the Lucian. Is right now the top laners back on their island finally. They'll reunite and trade some blows.
Hello, Red Hots? Hello? Okay, that's a thing. He's basically just fighting anyone and everyone who will offer a challenge at this point. Looks like we are going to have a rotation up here from the Morgana as well as the Yone. Whether or not they do anything with that will be the question. It does look like they are setting up for a dive, as Shen was looking to back. The minion wave is not there, so they're just going to question this for another couple of seconds. Again, just pull the trigger, guys, if you're going to. Either that or get out of here. Okay, it looks like Aqua is going to go in. Finally, the damage goes down. No need for the binding. Will be able to get the shutdown there on Shen, and even more turret plates here on the top.
Yeah, Shelly gonna come out here, should guarantee first turret for Boise State. Does about 2.5 plates. Ascent unfortunately gonna whiff on that ultimate. He will stay alive though. There we go. First turret over for Boise State. Of course, they did a trade that Rift Herald for an Ocean Dragon on the side of Dixie State, but that's a trade you will take if your jungler can pick up an objective at the same time. We do see both junglers in the other team's jungle, but no one's gonna be punished for it. So I do like the first tower trade for Boise State, as you see, down in kills, but actually has the gold lead thanks to all these plates. As the tower dive goes on the Goblin, a sick cleanse. Gonna keep him alive, and the tower now helping out, but good job by Hillboy taking that aggro, but the flash comes from Goblin. Here comes the culling, and unfortunately a great counter flash. An 80 carry being dived here by a Penguin, and there's Guapa as well. The full dive now coming out. Ensemble Force is going to land on a couple. Ascent picks up one. The turret should mean Red Hots picks up another one here. Zenith Blade going to hit though. Guapa might get away, and now Red Hots might have unfortunately bit off more than he can chew as he flashes under tower range. Not going to matter. Hillboy doing a fantastic job with that tower aggro, and Red Hots now somehow alive, but I think that's going to do it. He does pick up one, not another though. That was some crazy action in the bot lane.
Oh, that is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know, like, you not give the team their obligatory, like, granola bars, because Boise State's hungry right now, man. They're trying everything they can, and they're chasing a little bit too hard. Goblin had, I don't know if he had 50, yeah, he had 50 caliber net. Or not 50 caliber, ace in the hole. He could have gotten the kill, but instead, AP Carry going to overextend as well. All three members are there, and now Goblin is just gonna get shredded here as the Lucian chases him down. Meanwhile, mid lane, Aqua gonna be found out by Penguin Ninja. It is looking bleak for Boise State. It is looking great, and then it has all been ripped away in just a matter of seconds when it comes to these fights.
Yeah, and it's been in this bot lane where really everything has gone down, as we do see that Akali Guapa 6-0 right now, just now finishing the Gunblade at 11 minutes. That's going to be a problem for Boise State. Vision control at Dragon going to be all on the side of Dixie State as well, so we'll see if Boise State can contest this Infernal Dragon before we find out what the soul is. But wow, the prioritization of bot lane for Dixie State has been just wild. I mean, we've seen so many dives. We saw a 2-tower dive by Penguin, and he still survived it. Just absolutely incredible, putting all their focus on this bot lane, which, ironically enough, has the least amount of kills for Dixie State.
I mean, that's how it happens when you have a 6-0 Akali who just kind of one-shots everything, especially something as squishy as the bot lane. But yeah, again, it's just one of those too early, too late scenarios where you show up, you're like, oh, we got the jump, and little do you know you are just a half a second too early for realizing you're about to make the mistake of a lifetime. And it's happened multiple times, whether it's in the top side, bottom side, or here at an objective. So Boise State needs to get some kind of setup here. They need to find some way in here. They need to find some kind of pick, some way to kind of even the leverage. Because at this point, they've been able to do that. Even finding a tower on the top side, not able to find that. But it is the Shurima shuffle, and the rest of Dixie State is disappearing. Member by member, Leona is going to be gone. Yone finds yet another one. Thanks for teleporting in. Is that gonna be the 5-letter penta? We're about to find out as Yone gets it right there. 5-4-0 points, or for one, I'm sorry, as Morgana did fall there. Either way, we're throwing hats because it's the proverbial hat trick for League of Legends. I don't even care. Let's go, Boise State. Clawing their way back in. As I talk about finding something, they find it all, except for maybe the dragon. But 5 kills, that'll work.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. Aqua had the level advantage as he is going to get engaged on here. Zenith Blade going to come out. Unfortunately, he might have to pay for that pentakill. It looks like the Morgana shield not going to be enough, so he will unfortunately lose that shutdown. Maybe Boise State can pick up another one. Ascent doing a great job here. So good job by the Broncos going 1 for 1.
How many times to tell you, old man? He gets his penta there, gets set up there for the rest of his team. But yeah, gonna turn over a little bit of gold there. His teammates were able to show up, just not necessarily in time. But yeah, Boise State showing they have a pulse. They're here. They're in it to win it at the absolute least. Turret plating going to fall here, so lane priority might adjust ever so slightly as to where the aggression is. You see Akali's got a pretty fresh push here on the bottom. I don't suspect that that bottom turret is long for this world. Meanwhile, Boise State has pretty good pressure here on the mid lane if they decide to shove.
Yeah, I'm just still blown away by what we saw at the Dragon, the pentakill for Aqua. He has been farming fantastically. Before that, he only had 1 kill, but he did have a level advantage because the jungle does sometimes reward you for sort of just AFKing and farming, and he's been taking complete advantage of that. So what an introduction for Yone for Boise State, a first game pentakill before 15 minutes. Also, shout out to Boise State. My teammates would never just walk away when the pentakill's on the table. They would try everything in their power to steal it. So good job, Red Hots and the other member of Boise State for just allowing Aqua to pick that one up.
I'm pretty positive I did that to you this weekend, actually.
I've never been that close to a pentakill, unfortunately.
Oh, come on now, but a great Zenith Blade in is going to find AD carry. Black Shield is going to come out, as well as the binding to lock down Hillboy. Out comes some soldiers to help with the backup here, as Penguin Ninja is trying to fight a rock. Have you ever fought a rock before? You don't win. It hurts. You end up with boo-boos. But meanwhile, Red Hots is not done. He's going to find Guppa as well here in the Shroud. In the E is back in perfect execution. He manages to get out there, and the binding lands point blank. Exhaust is going to come down. Red Hots is going to try to shimmy and shake his way out of here, as it looks like Guppa going to be found out, and Red Hots smacks him with the rock.
Yeah, right now, as you mentioned, Dixie State keeps trying to find a rock, and the rock definitely keeps winning. You see there the Sunfire Cave complete. It looks like he's going for the Frozen Fist as well. Definitely just going to try and full CC and lock down whoever he jumps onto, which against this team of Dixie State, I absolutely love that item pick up there with the Iceborne Gauntlet. Once he assumedly does finish it, as another turret goes down. So Boise State playing to their outs, and now Ascent going to go in as the Solar Eclipse goes down.
Oh, they are getting brave. They do have a tower back here. Aqua is in, and look at that with the ultimate. Finds 3 of them there, and he's going to help pick up yet another one. He's going to find Ascent there, as the rest of Boise State. Great binding as well, and AD carry is on fire in the support lane, landing so many crucial Qs. A double kill here from Goblin. Question is Guppa going to try anything? No, a flash, and ult, and rock solid 50 caliber net into the ace in the hole. Gunzo right there. Boise State finds a clean set of kills once again, and the ace.
Yeah, another ace for Boise State. They're second in the last 3 minutes that have completely turned the tides of this game. The Broncos now up to a near 700 gold lead. Absolutely incredible right now for the Broncos. At Boise State just really playing to their outs and using Malphite and Red Hots to sort of be the engage tool, but also let people solo him, sort of a hint back to his mid lane days, Chizu, when he was 1v1ing people. Never thought you'd say that about him on Malphite, though.
Yeah, well, and I just want to bring this up because the last time I was God on the floor, I was talking about the Akali at 6-0. Currently now at 6-3. Take a look at Yone. I'm gonna break that habit one day. 7-3-6 out of nowhere, and he has just been absolutely pivotal in these team fights. And there you go, carry as well. The Q lands a nice little shot there from the Caitlyn, gonna put on some extra damage. And Boise State looking phenomenal these last handful of minutes, like you mentioned. Looks like we may have a scuffle here for the next Dragon. Boise State doesn't even find one. Wow, Gummy Hat is gonzo. In jumps Red Hots, the ultimate there to follow up from Yone, and everybody jumping in. They're throwing all that they can. In jumps the Emperor of Sands, and is going to just feed those over to Yone because, you know, he needed them. And he needed 3 more kills. I thought it was definitely going to be the Reba Shuffle triple there, but they find themselves an Air Drake, and we're going to be seeing plenty more of that in the near future for Boise State.
Yeah, and I mean, and you mentioned it, Chizu, but these bindings from AD Carry have been absolutely insane. I don't know if the camera has seen him miss yet, which is absolutely incredible 18 minutes of the game, absolutely picks off Gummy Hat on that Lucian. He did not stand a chance, and the rest of Boise State said it's a 5v4, let's go, go, go. So huge shout out to AD Carry with how he's been playing these bindings. Mid inhibitor might go down. No, Boise gonna leave it. Just less than 100 HP. Somebody could breathe on.
Oh, there you go. That'll
fall
help.
over.
Ah, yes, the good old Shelly, but we do have another fight as Guppa is going to be jumping in, looking for Ascent, not going to find him. The rest of the crew is here, the culling is out, and Aqua deletes that Lucian, and now is back. Teleport coming in here from Red Hot. The crew has arrived. Double kill here for the Yone, as it looks like Red Hot is gonna jump on in, just donates it over, says Goblin, you may feast upon the enemy. Donates that kill over to his ADC. That is a down inhibitor, and Boise State is poised to end this game as Shelly is crashing into the top.
See if they can. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep Shelly alive. They should be able to get this top inhibitor, though, as well. So Super's going to be a problem in 2 lanes for Dixie State. And I will say, for all the dominance we've seen for Boise State in this 10K gold lead, that fight kind of felt like it was going Dixie State's way until Red Hots came in with the teleport. So if Dixie State can maybe split push with the Shen, keep Red Hots out of team fights, they might have a fighting chance. But I will say, for how far the Broncos are ahead, without Red Hots, that team fight didn't feel nearly as clean and as dominating until he showed up, and then it was all over.
It's one of those things that I see exactly what you're saying. Like, this doesn't feel like a 10,000 gold lead, especially the way that fight went. You would expect the 10,000 gold people just getting deleted. Again, Yone did absolutely eviscerate that Lucian. The culling started and then stopped pretty quick. So once you get to that 5v5, the way I like to think about it is once you actually get to that full-on 5v5, it's going to be pretty rough for Dixie State, unless, of course, they can get the peel where they need it, as well as maybe find a catch here. But Red Hots is going to be doing all of the catching, just decides to boulder over Guppa and pushes him back out as Boise State going to be pushing here for a Baron. Could just be looking to fight, but they could also look to shred this thing down. Can't really see the health there. It looks like less than 2,000. Boise State looking to get it. Yep, Yone going to be able to go through. Red Hot's jumping in, and it looks like Kane is going to do the same, but kind of in a weird inverse way. Flash out there from a Penguin Ninja, but culling coming out. Red Hots will gladly tank all of that. Ace in the hole comes out, and the rest of Dixie State is going to get out of here as their base is about to be in shambles, if not completely destroyed.
Yeah, I was surprised Black Solo Cup as we sneak down the bot lane. Had the teleport available, didn't have to stand united for that fight. Just choosing to still continue to split push, as you mentioned, Chizu. The base for Dixie State being ravaged there. Looks like they might have one last chance here for an all-in.
And of course, you're going to get that assassin. The teleport came in. That is a feisty move there. Stand united on the Akali. Opens up this team fight, but meanwhile, you left your back lane, or your back crew completely alone, and Yone is going to go in and completely shred. And again, I thought that was a Dixie State setup, but instead, Boise State on the back of Aqua just absolutely destroy Dixie State.
Nice use of the unstoppable force there by Red Hot at the very end to minion block Shen to allow him to finish the game. So game 1 goes to the Broncos, and you mentioned maybe slow starts, Chizu. We saw that again for Boise State, and then they found a pentakill at 13 minutes, and from that, it was all over.
Yeah, that's one of the things is I know Boise State has that mental attitude that I talked about before, but it's almost uncanny. Like, even in like the superior losses, they have pretty stellar like final team fights, if that makes any sense. So I wasn't too concerned. And then all of a sudden, Aqua gets a penta over the first dragon fight. Okay, I guess that makes sense. And it was kind of all downhill from there as far as Dixie State was concerned. And Boise finds themselves a win, so they got to be feeling great about that.
Yes, we do see 2 of the players in the arena, Red Hots and Goblin, both of them having fantastic games. And as I mentioned in the open, it feels like this Boise State team, which just started playing together at the UCI Best Coast Tournament, starting to find their groove, starting to find how they can work together. I loved Red Hots on the mouth fight, those unstoppable force combos. Basically, just Dixie State said, this rock, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. The hard place is dead, and the rock was mouth fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't. It was like what happens when like you try to hike K2 or something, and you don't bring enough supplies, and you just die. And like that was a lot of like. There's a metaphor here. Go with me, because they kept jumping in on Red Hots. He kept just walking around. They jump in on him. Suddenly, they're getting attacked by a giant mountain. with absolutely zero remorse. So big old shout outs to, I don't know what the equivalent of America's Sweetheart would be, but that's Red Hot's new name. Boise State's Sweetheart. Red Hot's at the top side with the Malphite. It may not be as flashy as Yasuo or Zakali. Good job, though.
Yeah,
Woo!
and I will have to say the one thing that I think maybe even turned that game was when Black Solo Cup went in, he got first blood. He handed basically all that gold right over to Red Hots by tower diving him and immediately dying. It's 100 extra gold to a Shen. Whoop-de-doo. I'd be curious to see if somehow Shen had survived that or had not given that 300 gold over to Malphite, how that game would have turned out, because really, after that, Red Hots could kind of just bully whoever they sent up there. They sent Akali up there for a little bit. She ran away. They sent Lucian up there. He just appeared on the fountain 30 seconds later with a gray screen. So I'll be very curious to see how that game would have turned out if the Shen maybe played a bit more passive. It was one thing we talked about, not a true top laner for this Dixie State team, a couple of guys who can flex all over the place. So maybe curious if that was maybe something where, hey, I'm a jungle main, let's get aggressive. You're playing Shen. You just need to tone it back just a little bit.
Yeah, and that's, kind of one of the things you have to look at when you're taking a peek at the draft. And it kind of unfolded, not to like toot my own horn, toot, but it was pretty much what I thought was going to happen, because it was a very even game up until that dragon fight. And then suddenly Yone has so many, materials to work with. And the wombo from Boise State was just absolutely ludicrous. From the push on the Shurima shuffle to the Malphite ult, it allowed for a lot of Yone opportunities to come in, whether he was creating those on his own or otherwise. But again, you just see Boise State absolutely shredding, and the health bars disappearing no matter how tanky. I mean, this is a Shen here who is able to get rid of the auto attacks and manages to stay alive for a little bit. They just leave him. There's the pentakill. Again, just a great move there, and they donate that over. So if you got to pick an MVP, you always go the one who has that, pentakill. And again, Red Hots showed up really well in this game as well. Just really steamrolling into whoever he wanted. And again, see, there's the metaphor there. You were trying to hike the mountain. Suddenly the mountain smacked you in the face, and you have to call a helicopter to come save you. The helicopter, of course, in this case, is a Morgana. There you go. There's a metaphor for it.
Yeah, one tries to re-engage, maybe the mountain's low health. But yeah, it really felt like for all the priority they put on this bot side, is there were a couple of great early fights for Dixie State where they got eliminations. As you mentioned, that pentakill at the Dragon. It was Ascent and Red Hots, by the way. Shout out to them for letting Aqua have that pentakill. And I have to say, this is one of the favorite things when we say, oh, who's going to be the MVP, who's going to be player of the game, which we still have more games to go. It's almost hard to pick one because, yes, you had a pentakill, but Red Hot was unstoppable. Night 80 carry wasn't missing bindings when he was on camera. When the entire Boise State team plays at an MVP level, they are so hard to beat. And now that they're starting to find this, it's going to be a very, very, I think, more positive season for the Broncos than how it started, because right now they have found their groove. Look at it. Not even on camera. He found a blind binding and gets it, and it's game over.
Yeah, and that was exactly what I wanted to see. And I believe if you go back like 2 weeks, I was criticizing Boise State in general about hitting skill shots. So to see the 80 carry comes in and doesn't miss one in front of our eyes anyways, that's kind of it's like nobody saw that situation, is good news for this Boise State crew.
Yeah, and so then as we do head into game 2 here with picks and bans, we saw a ton of respect bans for Boise State. Usually in that first game, it's all right, who's the one trick? Who do we ban out? With the Broncos winning, is it the Yone ban that we see from Dixie State? Is it the Malphite ban? Is it the Morgana ban? Is it all three? Because those were all very good.
Yeah, absolutely, man, and that's only time will tell. As it does look like we are going to take a handful of seconds, kind of loosen ourselves up, take a quick body break, grab yourself an energy drink. We'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 2, Boise State versus Dixie State.
Welcome back into the Boise State Twitch channel. Fish and Chizu here in Collegiate League of Legends, a show match between Boise State and Dixie State, and it has gone the Broncos' way, at least in Game 1. Boise State picking up a victory on the back of a Yone 14-minute pentakill. Some great rock-solid play from Red Hots in the top lane on Malphite, as we're going to be heading quickly here into Game 2, as it is Boise State and Dixie State, and I'll be very curious to see how picks and bans go, at least for Dixie State, because there is a lot on the table. Of course, we know every team has said no Rumble for you, Ascent. This might be the game where you kind of have to give the man Rumble, because there are too many other scary champions that Boise State can play, as we do see Dox Keys the game here. Good mid and jungle synergy. Play for the objectives. That's where the pentakill went down, so check that one off the box. Value over time and never take a fair fight. All brought to you by Count, who are one of the leaders in real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enabling customer experiences for more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. We're all online a lot more because we're all home a lot more. If you're worried about making sure you're safe, making sure your payments aren't being compromised, check them out. Countwithak.com, K-O-U-N-T, for more information on how to stay safe online. And maybe Dixie State can ask, hey, how do you keep us safe from Yone? Because that man is very scary.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that you have to consider. I think you and I personally have learned our lesson. Also, big shout-outs to the Boise State production crew. You're the reason that we, look halfway decent. You all are absolutely positively amazing. Even Ray's back. Right on, man. We're moving on up. We got people on the stage. Ray's back. And, of course, my boy Koba rocking his Team Liquid attire. These are the real superstars behind the superstars behind the superstars. So thank you guys so much. As I'm done rambling, of course, Boise State picking up that game number 1. As far as the bans are concerned, Yone needs to be removed, period. I don't care who you are. Right now, he's just in one of those kind of limbo situations, not necessarily permaban. You don't see people getting rid of Lilia, as often as they do. Then again, maybe I also argue that point as well, because I think she's a sleeper of a champion. Yeah, I mean, get rid of the Yone. Give him the Rumble if you're ready for it. If you got a counter to it, sure. But that's scary, man. I think we put Rumble in your hands the other night, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and still managed to do pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't think I think you're giving me a little bit more than I deserve, but I always appreciated Chizu. But yeah, I mean, the one thing I love about this Boise State team, even with the record so far, is Aqua has been the man. He's been MVP in all 3 matches, and he's really saying, you have to ban me out. We see the Twitch bans. We see the Graves ban. We've seen a Vi ban. Now we're maybe potentially adding a Yone ban to the table. But for now, I'm going to say that Teemo's probably Yone. Yeah, so there's the Yone ban. But I'm still shocked that even after you get a pentakill on Yone, they still are more scared of Ascent's Rumble. I want to see Ascent play Rumble, because the respect teams are giving it is absolutely insane.
Yeah, talking with our other caster, Baratel, who was actually watching a game where he got a Rumble. Someone made the fatal mistake of leaving that open, and he's like, this guy's insane. They cannot leave this open. They can't. So I want to see it. It's like the Super Saiyan God mode version of what could be in the mid lane. So curious to see if we will ever get that. Shen being removed, just Boise State doesn't want to deal with the Stand United. It was definitely a thorn in their side. Led to a lot of the early game pressure that you were talking about, that double teleport. Twitch and Bard also removed in the final step.
Yeah, so 2 bans targeting Aqua down there, but he has still a few more up his sleeve. The Caitlyn first pick for Dixie State there. Be curious to see. I know their supports played a lot of Karma. Maybe put that Enchantress there, but you want to be seeing that. And then the Pyke being left on the table. That was the one change. Boise State banned the Pyke in the first round last time. This time taking away the Shen. The mid laner, Agua, is very, very Guapa, I should say. Very confident Pyke player. Like 151 games on Pyke, which is insane. Be curious to see. But the Kog'Maw first pick for Boise State, I'm scared. There's a reason you need to protect the Kog'Maw comps. You've got to draft around that man very, very heavily now.
Oh, Boise State can do it. It's a little crazy. See right there. You take that girl right there, Lulu. Interestingly enough, you can also flex these two into either mid or bot side. It's been a while since we've seen like a mid lane Lulu, but you can't take the Kog'Maw into the mid. We've been seeing players like Bjergsen and stuff like that taking it into lane. But I do like this setup, as you already have a pretty good setup for the Cog just in lane alone. The thresh there is going to make things a little bit more difficult, but if he gets caught out, you just hugify, turn someone into a cupcake, let him waddle away. You're golden. I love this pick.
Yeah, the Thresh pick is, well, I like that one, being able to maybe be that pseudo-Leona where if you land a hook, you're not required to go in. I think that cost Hillbill a couple of times where with the Zenith Blade, you're in. You're not getting out, and you're probably dying as you waddle away on Leona. So I like the Thresh keeping up the aggressiveness. I am very curious to see if they do want to select that Pyke. As I was saying it, they picked it, because if you're not going to ban it, even if you think he's going to be countered, you have to put a man on his best champion. I would assume Boise State would do the same thing if Rumble ever made it through. So Guapa gets his favorite, over 150 games played on Pyke, most of them in the mid lane. So I'll be very curious to see how Ascent wants to counter this.
Yeah, so now I'm really hoping neither of these that have been picked up from Boise State are being flexed into the mid lane, because that is scary for either one of them. They just really cannot deal with the mid lane build against that 1v1 situation. In lane, not nearly as bad. You can work around it. He's not necessarily building as crazy. But it looks like Renekton going to be the final lock-in here for Boise State.
See a question in Twitch chat. This is a show match, so not a scrimmage, but a show match between these two schools, showing off what they can for everybody watching. And I love this Renekton pick if it is red hot. That was one of the things as I was coming to the arena today. I was like, look, I like him on the tanks, but I want something that can have that sort of pseudo mid lane domination. And that Renekton, you see it all the time in the LCS. That is something I'm super excited if it is a top lane Renekton. We've seen him flexed around as well a little bit, especially in like the Korean meta. Saw a lot of Renekton mid the other night. So if it is red hots on Renekton as the Nami ban comes out, actually the Nami is Lilia. So 2 new champions banned away from us, Chizu. They just don't want to see it. They are banning just random junglers away from Aqua at this point.
You know, and I'm not being entirely facetious here as we see the Zoe removed here as well as the Kayn. I can't tell you the last time Riot released a champion that was not significantly overpowered, not like OP, but just like, we don't know how to deal with this right off the bat. And sees bans, and they released those 2 champions really close together. And so, not surprising to see him removed. Like I said, I firmly believe that Lilia is a resident sleeper of a champion. She'll whop you and bop you all over the place and then hit you when you're sleeping.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say I'm not a fan of putting movement speed steroids built into Champion's kit, because you're not catching her. We learned that lesson actually last night, Chizu. You're never catching a Lilia no matter how much CC you hit on her. So you're right. It's been a long time. I guess Ivern's probably the last one that maybe you can say wasn't OP on release, but it's just because maybe people hadn't figured him out, as we see the Amumu jungle pick in and then the Sivir pick for Boise State. So they're going with the double 80 carry. Maybe that is a Kog'Maw mid. Maybe it's AP Kog'Maw. And then the Camille picked up in the top lane for Dixie State. So it's not going to be an island this time. This is 2 bruisers. Should have a lot more action besides a Shen and a Malphite just kind of slapping each other with the wet noodles.
Yeah, Camille is super fun, super mobile, and allows for some pretty interesting setups. I like the Amumu pickup, and I like what the Dixie side has here. We're talking about kind of the CC and setup. Nothing better than getting hit by the Wicked Tantrum, and then also getting Hextech ultimatumed. So you're not going anywhere forever, as the Caitlyn's going to be hitting you for roughly 1,200 at any given point. I really, really, really like the setup from Dixie.
So I'm trying to figure out what Boise State not is doing, but where everything's going. Because right now I don't see a standard jungler is probably the best way to put it. I'm sure Aqua could make anything work at this point, but that'll be the one thing I want to see when we do get into the game, is what the jungle situation is there for Boise State, because I would have to say maybe Renekton or Lulu would be the guess, but even then, that just feels weird to say, as we did see in the Twitch chat, people excited to see the players back. We do have 2 of them back, red hots, as you could see on the screen, and then Goblin just off to his other side there, protected by a couple of computers and some of those solid glass things to make everyone safe here. 2 players in, and they definitely prove that they deserve to be back in here, just absolutely popping off. And we'll have the poll, who won the draft? So I'll bring it to you, Chizu. If you can figure out where Boise State's going, maybe you can prove to me why they won. But right now, I find it hard to pick Boise State because I don't see a jungler right now.
That's all I got for you, because I have absolutely no idea what is going on with the Boise State draft. But we will call it impromptu innovation. Maybe it's planned innovation. A lot of those champions could go a lot of different places. I'm just going to lean over to a former Boise State player, if you will, on the Hall of Fame, actually right behind you. None other than Sulpan, who said, Lulu Jungle, question mark? Famous for the Maxi Jarvan, so maybe I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, honestly, if you really want, the only thing I can pick would be put Red Hots on the top lane at Kali, because that man on a Kali, he could say, hey, Guapa, I see what you're doing there. I see that 6-0 start. Let me show you how to finish here real quick. Let me show you how to go 12-0 and not 6-5 or whatever Guapa finished. So I'd love to see that. But, yeah, these are really strong champions. It's just that who's carrying Smite role that I'm going to see. I do believe we saw a Lulu jungle last year from Boise State. It was not Aqua. It was a different jungler. So it has been done. He can make anything work. He just showed it on Yone and then got a Respect Lilia ban out of nowhere. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen.
Well, it looks like 63% of you believe that Boise State won the draft there. So I'm curious how, what, when, why, and where. Maybe it's just the full send meme. Maybe it's just the fan side of things. But make it make sense in the chat, and we'll be sure to highlight some of the best answers as to what's going on.
Yeah, if you can correctly predict just the lane composition outside. Really, if you could just correctly predict the lane composition at this point, I would be proud of you for Boise State, because, as you mentioned, Chizu, these can flex anywhere they want. They can go any sort of lane. I'm just really excited to see when we get into the game who's going where, because that is the part where I'm just going to be – my mind's going to be blown no matter what they bring out.
Listen, Fish, I'm just going to put it to you this way. You may not have understood the draft, but I am proud of you for just being you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for voting in that poll. Again, it's just it comes down to this team fight. Again, the thing with the huge collegiate groups and things like that, especially in these show matches, is it typically just comes down to that team fight, like 15, 20, 25-minute NA RAM kind of situation. The objective game is going to be where it is huge, because, again, that first game, Boise State was down quite a chunk of change until suddenly Aqua just unsealed all his might, if you will, and absolutely disposed of the Dixie State crew. So we'll see, but it's going to definitely boil down to those team fights, and if those margins are big enough, because Boise State did a great job of trading 1-for-1 for a little while, whether it was a death for a tower, dragon for whatever. But I want to. That was one moment, and that game blew wide open. So I have a feeling we might have a closer game here in game number 2.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how much pressure Dixie State wants to put on the bot lane, because with the Shen, they absolutely abused it. As soon as he died, he respawned, teleported down bot lane. As soon as he hit 6, it was a stand united in the bot lane right away. As I like to tell my teammates when I have teleport, as soon as I hit 6, I'm maxing my ult and we're going in. Make sure the ward's down. That's kind of the strategy they ran. Camille, you'll have the one teleport, but you're going to give a free lane to whoever's up top lane. Dixie State also got really creative, making sure Red Hots couldn't farm plates, and that didn't really pay off for him. They actually had to give away a kill when he sort of soloed down a level 5 Lucian. So I'm very curious to see if there's as much priority on the bot lane, and if they're going to have these weird lane roaming strategies they tried last time that sort of backfired on them.
I mean, you do what you can. There were, again, plenty of instances where Dixie State was looking great. Those fights, like we mentioned, Boise State was ahead 10,000 gold. Sure, the fight was 4v5, but it felt very, very small compared to like what we were seeing on screen. Again, it was a 4v5, so those numbers are subjective, but it is a little worrisome, and that leads to what I was talking about prior. Is just like, I do believe this is going to be a close one. Or again, if I'm looking at this draft setup, and I'm not sure. I can't tell you who's going where. So Boise's obviously unlocked something that I have not. I'm just curious to see if they can get it together in the team fight aspect.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone predicted the Kog'Maw to have Smite. I'm going to be completely honest with you, Chizu. I do like the Akali Red Hots there. I am a big fan of that fleet footwork. I definitely think going to work out better. But yeah, Kog'Maw probably was the last person I honestly expected to have Smite on this team, so I am very curious to see how this is going to work out. But the rest of the draft for Boise State, I love the Renekton mid to counter the Pyke. I love Red Hots on the top lane there in more in a dually sense, and we do see a full blue invade from Dixie State. Unfortunately for them, Boise State's all sitting at this red buff, so that's going to be 0 kills on a full invade for Dixie State.
Nice try, though. One of those feels bad. They'll watch the replay and be like, all right, it's not that bad. Now becomes the paranoid part where you're walking back in your jungle. Like, I hope they're not right behind us on that bottom side by red, if you will. I mean, that's kind of one of the ways you can go about it. But yeah, nothing doing here in the beginning side, and 100 bazillion% agree with you. I cannot tell you the last time, if ever, I have seen a Kog'Maw jungle.
Well, you know what? He made the Yone work, so I'm very excited to see what Aqua can do on this. I'm guessing it would be AD. That seems to be where he leans himself on his junglers, but you never know on that. But this mid lane, I just love it. Ascent basically said, you know what? You banned out my Rumble, and it feels like every game he's playing a new champion, trying to say, please ban this out so that I can play Rumble. And he's been very, very confident on a lot of the champions that he has put in there. So I'm a huge fan of this Renekton, and I hope he pops off. But Red Hot's on Akali. This is what I want to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to see what he has as far as on the other side. Hook is going to land immediately, and Hillboy is going to get some damage in, but they are pumping it right back out on Boise State side. A flash as well as a heal gonna be burned. Boise State didn't even initiate that. Not even their fault. So they come out looking pretty good anyway.
Yeah, we saw the Lux Sona thing, haven't seen it for anyone here, but Guardian really has jumped to an insane level of power. A flash has to be blown there by AD Carry to avoid a hook, but Guardian just absolutely turned that fight. I'm very surprised it hasn't been touched yet by Riot, and I'd love to see that Guardian shield sort of carry that bot lane. It's a nice little invade here on the blue buff of Dixie State, so Boise State going to pick up that invading with Kog'Maw jungle, Chizu. Now we've seen it all.
Not that I don't feel like he needs that, but we got to fight here on the bottom side. Hillboy is taking damage. Pix is coming out. The Ignite is down. Flash as well. Gummy Hat not able to find the Caitlyn, and a weird interaction there means AD Carry has to turn and fight. Pix coming out again, and that auto attack was not enough. Looks like we have some action here on the top side as Black Solo Cup jumping in on Red Hot, gets the better of that exchange. Bottom lane is a powder keg is what I'm going to say. Ready to explode. First jungle will feast as Guppa going to be pushed out here by Ascent.
And we do see a Penguin is on the Boise State blue buff, so he is going to be the one closer to the bot side here. We do see a fight in the top lane. Smokescreen going to be used by Red Hot. We do have Aqua on the Kog'Maw as a flash comes out in the mid lane, and this could be a chance for Aqua to pick up the first kill. He's going to flash in. Black Solo going to flash away as well. Will use the windshield wipers there, but it might not be enough. The red buff burned first blood over to Aqua.
I don't even know what to do with myself anymore. Like, are we watching teams? Is this a solo queue game? Is this Salty Timo? Because I just saw a first blood top side. Again, damage here on the bottom side. Boy, oh my goodness, what a great bandage as Goblin is going to be found out again from the saddest of all boys. Double kill there on the bottom side. Dixie State responds.
As you mentioned, it was a full powder keg, and probably whatever jungler could get down there first was going to pick up at least one, if not two kills. Boise State got first blood on the top side, and Penguin said, you know what, that is all me. By the way, a teleport immediately committed by Goblin to get right back into lane, make sure he doesn't lose any CS to pick up the Cole first item. Have to be curious to see how Gummy Hat replies here with his 2 assists, but Boise State really doing a great job in that bot lane. A pickaxe versus a Cole, though, should mean trade should start to favor Dixie State if they keep going the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, bottom lane was just waiting for some jungle attention. Amumu is the first one to get there. Picking it up early for himself, so both junglers here just raring to go. Again, just very curious to see how this Kog'Maw is going to work out for the side of Boise State. Red Hot is back and putting on the pressure here on the top side. Knows he has some time as Black Solo Cup is going to miss the hook shot bounce, and Red Hot is more than willing to follow up with the E there, drop the Q, and put on some extra damage.
Yeah, the fleet footwork plus the Doran shield just allows for such incredible sustain on the Akali. Red Hot's right now abusing it, plus getting that first blood additional gold really helped him out because he was getting bullied there a little bit. We do see Black Solo Cup still has a slight experience lead. He will hit level 6 first if nobody leaves lane, so gotta watch out for that. The ultimate for Camille might be able to turn a fight, but I just love this in the mid lane. Guapa picking his favorite champion by far, Ascent on the Renekton, just says, I'm gonna tank every single thing you do, good luck.
Pull me in. I dare you. Go ahead. Go invisible. I double dare you. It's really awesome to see this matchup. Again, Ascent. We didn't really have Renekton on the mid lane chart, if you will, as far as his champion pool is concerned. So a great pocket pick as far as Ascent's champions are concerned. And see, he's just able to push this lane. And we'll see if it has anything towards the end of the game. But if Guppa can't get going, it might be quite rough for him.
There's a gank.
Ignite is going to come down. It looks like a gank here coming in from a Penguin Ninja as well. Ascent is just tanking all of this damage to the best of his ability. Dominus is going to be burned. He literally has 2v1 and more than likely will win, if not set up a double here. Oh man, that ultimate puts you in a bad spot. So 1 for 2 in Boise State favor as this Kog'Maw continues to spread his butterfly wings, maybe even hitting the chrysalis stage of his setup, as Red Hots is going to land with the E and then take like 5 tower shots to the face. Now he's got to find his way back into lane.
Yeah, I think he was maybe setting up a dive there, but the minion's not quite fast enough. The turret saying, hold on there, buddy, you're not going to go anywhere. But yeah, that was insane by a set with just a door and shield saying, all right, come on, let's go. You're just going to, you sort of tickle me to death because Pyke is designed as a support. I know maybe the most recent support designs haven't been played in the right role that Riot intended, but it's been a great job by him. We do see, unfortunately, Aqua going to get caught out there by Guapa. He has some assists coming. We'll see if the camera wants to agree with us. There it is. Ascent says, hello, Mr. Stealthman. Let me protect my cog, but a great job by Ascent roaming over there to keep Aqua alive.
Just kind of gives him a little stick right there. Just like, what, 150, you can barely see it taken off. Ascent will be able to get that back really quick. So it's either further for your like this pick here on Ascent. But I'm loving this Kog'Maw. I'm curious to what's going on. Your hair is so long, Chizu. Let's focus on the things that matter here, folks. It'll be gone one day, and that's all that matters. Maybe I'm keeping it for that day. Anyways, as we take a look at the CS and gold differentials, it looks like Ascent is not going to give us an opportunity for me to segue the conversation.
Well, I'll take it here, Chizu, if he'll cooperate. We see very even in the top lane, just a slight lead. Dragon is going to go over to the blue team, though, so another burst Dragon picked up there by Dixie State. We'll see if Boise State can respond with the Rift Herald. In the mid lane, it is all Ascent. He's up 12, and then very, very close in the bot lane, and the junglers also very even as well. Both junglers actually having 3 kills. Very interesting, but we do see as a hook is blocked there that there is an Amumu in the back line as the teleport comes in.
Oh, and it looks like Red Hots is hungry. Flash is going to be extended. The play is going to come down. It looks like not only is Camille going to be here, but Amumu as well. Red Hots looks to have gotten out, but the ultimatum is going to lock down AD Carry, sacrificing his life so Goblin can get out. But the Boise State was the one that started that whole shebang. Great response from Dixie.
Yeah, they did have Amumu in the backline as Red Hots might have been caught out there. A flash from Black Solo Cup, and that actually might spell doom. It will. Ace in the hole. Gonna pick up Red Hots. Goblin barely surviving a blind hook, and Aqua now might not know that there's an entire team converging on him. There's the ult from Amumu. It wasn't gonna matter anyway. A shutdown. Probably going on to the worst person, though. It does go on to the Amumu, so Boise State will take that, but that is a ton of kills, and Ascent might be the next one. It looks like they'll let the Lizard live for now.
Question mark ping, question mark ping. This looks a little bit better. A flash, a Dominus, and it looks like Hillboy is gonzo. This Gator says see you later. A Penguin Ninja may be next. Ignite is down. He got it with the Glitter Lance, and that's going to be enough of another one picked up there for Ascent. It says fine, you wiped me. I'm back. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. More productive with my phage, and picks himself up too.
Yeah, that was another one of those very long, extended fights where Boise State loses, manages to come all the way back. And I will have to say, very curious to see if this Amumu wants to convert all of this gold into a more AP-focused build for Go the Tank build. We do see some trades coming out in the top lane because he's 4-2. He got that huge shutdown from Aqua as well. He might be what gets Dixie State back in this game, but as everyone knows, you play AP Amumu, you're just going to fall over because you're not going to be as tanky as you're used to.
Yeah, Amumu is one of my favorites, and I definitely build him up more on the tankier side of everything. Sure, it's fun to jump in and tantrum and everyone disappears. That's definitely super neat. It takes a while to get to that point. You're definitely better on the utility side of things, just making sure you can lock people down, put out constant damage. Speaking of constant damage, Ascent jumping in here on Guppa. But as a guy who likes to play Amumu, you got to make sure your team around you at least has some kind of resource. You could be super far behind as an Amumu jungle and still find your way back in, or you can just find yourself caught in the jungle and disappear.
Okay.
Up to you.
He did go the Cinder Hulk, so maybe going a bit tankier, but of course he has 4 of the team's 6 kills, so he's going to have to see how much damage he can put out. Of course, with the Pyke mid lane, you're going to have that one burst of damage, and if the ult kills someone, maybe a little more, but not much than that because you are playing a support in the mid. Is Red Hot's now just punishing Black Solo Cup. He's got the Gunblade online, so he's going to do a ton more damage in Ascent. I just love this matchup. It was such a great pick, giving the opponent his favorite and basically baiting him in with the Renekton. We do see the games, tied at 6 kills, with Boise State with the 1K gold lead. No turrets to show for, just one dragon in terms of objectives. But Black Solo Cup going to spot Aqua out. Did not know that was warded. The ultimatum's going to come down, but he's still doing a ton of damage. Guapa now rotating over. There's another ward. Aqua going to have to try and one away. Will get hooked back in. A shutdown going to go over to this mid laner for Dixie State.
I mean, unbelievable here. Red Hot's going to follow this up really easy and just a ludicrous amount of damage. Again, getting caught out, but Dixie State kind of being their own worst enemies here. Multiple engages that Boise State just turns around and capitalizes on, collapses on them. And yeah, while the early minutes of this game looked heavily in favor one way, it starts to stagnate out, and it's all because of your own aggression. Very interesting to see this from both teams, actually, throughout the course of the series.
Yeah, and I do like how Hillboy's been playing this Thresh. A lot of times he's not hit the hook, but he's gotten a flash out of someone who he wasn't even hooking at. He's gotten the Sivir Shield out of Goblin when he was aiming for AD carry. So he's been playing some mind games with Boise State, maybe not going for the target they expect. We'll be curious to see if he can continue that, maybe land a hook onto someone who isn't looking, because he's done a good job of that, at least in the bot side, blowing some summoners. There's a ton of damage comes out onto Guapa.
Excuse me?
He should survive thanks to Pyke's interesting healing ability when he can't be seen, but that Pyke's not going to be in for a fun time.
Oh yeah, not at all. And Panic Ping's coming down. Camille is coming. Camille is coming. That's what that meant. It didn't mean watch yourself over and over and over again. It was Morse code. For my top laner has now rotated, and that means that it looks like he's going to head back home. So Boise State doing a pretty good job. You take a look at the CS overall, looking pretty dang good all across the board.
Yeah, Red Hot's really starting to pull away from Black Solo Cup, and it's everywhere, as you mentioned. Really good in the mid lane as well. The bot lane, the only thing that's still even, but you look at the plates, 2 plates for Boise State top, 2 in the mid lane, and then just 2 on the bot side for Dixie State, so that's going to help with the gold lead, as well as the Ocean Dragon has spawned our second of the game. Last time, even though Dixie State got it, they had to give up a pentakill. I'll be very curious to see how they approach this dragon this time.
Yeah, Boise looking to just burn this thing down as quickly as possible. You only have a super high damage individual naturally who's, well, designed to do exactly that, take down dragons, as that Kog'Maw absolutely destroyed that Drake there. Boise State will find an equalizing one. Ocean, and that will allow them to sustain these lanes. A hook shot in and a little bit of aggression is just going to stabilize. Red Hot should be able to heal this up relatively easy.
As we did see the Cloud Dragon going to be, but there's the flash ultimatum from Black Solo Cup. He's got Guapa up there as well, and unfortunately for Red Hot, he did dodge the ult, but it's not going to matter. Guapa going to pick up one as Goblin gets trapped. That's 2 kills in 20 seconds, but we do see Aqua down there now. He's going to get 1 flash. He's trying to 1v2. He doesn't know that it's soon going to become a 1v3 as the heal comes out. He'll flash away from the bandage toss. He's going to get hooked in. There's the Lulu shield. A nice flash, though, by Gummy Hat, and that's just unfortunate for Boise State as he misses the Kog'Maw ult. Some incredible play. A Penguin going to try and go in, but he's out of mana. The micro from everyone involved was insane there.
Yo! Sorry, I'm screaming. Gummy Hat with the crafty as bleep flash into the bush. I thought that was going to be a guaranteed kill. Kog'Maw was 1v3. That says some very interesting things about our upcoming team fight parts of the game. But my goodness, what great movement there from Dixie State all around to stabilize that bottom side.
Yeah, and I will say an unintended consequence for Boise State is that, actually, never mind, he got it off. I was going to say Rift Herald was actually about to despawn. As you see, it has to be summoned all the way at the mid inhibitor turret, so it is going to. Shelly walk very, very, very slowly down the mid lane. Should still be able to, if it gets the charge off, pick up first tower of the game. But I was going to say, it looked like the Rift Herald has fallen, as Goblin's now going to get caught out.
Goblin, you're not Kog'Maw. There's the hook. Oh, spell shield, though. I respect it. Here comes the Q. Not gonna land. Goblin out of there by the tiniest of threats.
Penguin did smite that one away, so he will win the first smite battle of the day as a scent drops in, and that's an Angry Lizard.
Absolutely, Dominus is going to be burned here as Guppa is going to be forced out. Boise State is here. They've already shredded one, and Guppa could be in for a bad time here. Hook is going to come in. Ascent is going to be found out. Pulled back the other way. That is a lot of gold on an individual you do not want it on. This is going to allow for this fight to continue to build these beautiful items and continue to move on. Great setup there from Hillborn.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Guapa's whole goal is to make either Aqua or Goblin regret loading into this game. And as you mentioned, the more gold you give a champion like that, the more you're going to regret it. As Aqua and AD carry thought they had him found out, but he'll just turn invisible because that's a fun and balanced mechanic, and he will walk away unscathed.
I just can't wait to see this full setup here from the Kog'Maw when he starts getting full items and then gets buffed not only by AD carry, movement speed on top of it, shields, and then Hugify after everyone drops on it. Like, just get ready to see health bars disappear if he's left unchecked.
Yeah, that's going to be the one thing. That's what I think Guapa's goal has to be, is shutting him down. But he's going to find out Goblin, but he has to immediately run away, but he's got Penguin in the backline.
Hey, shout outs to Twitch chat for the direction. It's Guapa. Thank you. I appreciate that. Flash, ultimate, spell shield, Goblin's health bars are gonzo. As Guapa gonna find yet another one.
Yeah, that's a Pyke who was shut down in the laning phase, finding success as we sort of go into the free-for-all pick mode of the game. Looks like there will be a couple of towers traded. Bot for the side of Dixie State, top for the side of Boise State, and now Ascent gonna find himself in what soon could become a 1v2.
You're a bad, bad man, Ascent. He's gonna get stunned down here. In with the slice, looking to dice and finish it. Oh, so nice. Gets his ankles broken, though. Just kidding. Hits him with the kills, and everything's fine. Boise State, meanwhile, on this Rift Arrow.
Yeah, and a great job by Ascent to blast cone over, because as you saw, Penguin's like, oh, I'm just going to go to the blast cone, I'll be fine. And then as soon as he realized it wasn't there, he kind of just gave up hope, put in a nice ankle-breaking juke, but it did not matter. And another Rift Herald for Boise State. We'll see if they can use this one maybe a bit more effectively, as Black Solo Cup dropping very low as the ultimatum comes out.
Red Hot here looking for a way out, but everyone's here. Let's play a fun game of visibility, as Black Solo Cup is going to be seeing gray here at this point. Red Hot's going to be able to get out of it.
Yeah, just the Red Hot Zakali, something that I think Boise State fans very familiar with, and it has not rusted at all. We do see the Ravenous Hydra finished by Black Solo Cup, so he should be able to sort of go off and freely push a lane, use that teleport to get in, so Boise State can have to be very careful on matching that. But they do actually have two teleports. Once again, teleport initiative on the Broncos side with Goblin and Red Hots picking it up. But the Leandry's finished there by Penguin, so he's sort of going for this hybrid. I have Cinder Hulk to survive, but I also need Leandry's because I need to do some damage, because my team, besides Pyke, may be lacking a little bit. Gummy Hat 3-0, hasn't been in a team fight really to see if he's able to click head.
And it looks like Guapa is going to find out Goblin. The question is, will the rest of the crew be there? Not enough damage to be put down. By the way, free dragon? Okay, sweet. So it looks like Boise State going to find themselves an Air Drake for absolutely free. That feels pretty good. You got to like that. They may even steal a red here. Rude. Rude, Aqua.
Hey, he already lost.
You don't do that to people.
He lost one smite battle, so that was some revenge. A death push for Boise State, but the hook's going to start onto Ascent.
Yeah, Ascent is more than okay taking that right now, but this is where things get scary, because in jumps the Amumu and the rest of the crew from Dixie State. Boise State is able to peel out of there. Aqua, meanwhile, just doing Aqua things, trying to pump out as much damage as possible, and is doing a fantastic job at that. Is going to get Black Solo Cup. A Penguin Ninja is going to take out Aqua, but by the way, the passive is explosive, so Guapa going to find the Lulu there. Ascent looking for the Penguin Ninja is going to find it, takes the ace in the hole, but meanwhile, Red Hots didn't even join that fight. He's just minding his own business. That's hanging the top lane turret, as a good split pusher should.
Yeah, Boise State winning that fight and not even having every member, as you mentioned. Not going to quite be able to get that tier 2 tower. That next minion wave should be able to do it, as the gray screens get color back in them for Dixie State. They do have the kill lead, but it's still a gold lead for Boise State, just shy of 3K, as Ascent going to take the tier 2 mid lane tower. So Boise State holding all the towers 4-1. Almost could be 5-1 as Black Solo Cup, though, wants to stop that.
Hydra is going to be burned there. Black Solo Cup may apparently not have learned his lesson. In comes the Hextech Ultimatum. Apparently his buy on the last time gave him some courage while he was at it. Oh, never mind. It's his ally right there. Forced out, as well as a flash. Red Hot showing his fancy feet with that KD, a Kali skin, Prestige Edition nonetheless. But here comes the rest of Dixie, looking to do something here. Going to use the E to get out. Red Hot's pulled all of the aggro up top, while the rest of his team summons Rich Herald mid.
Yeah, great job by Red Hots to drag 4 people top lane, and that should allow Heraldina, the second of the 2 Rift Heralds, to potentially get a charge off here. Not going to see if Gummy Hat is going to be able to stop that. Doesn't look like he was able to, as a teleport is going to come out for Boise State. They may be looking for some blood now.
Yeah, they're feeling pretty good. Parallel's going to come over here, set up for this Baron as well. 21 minutes, I'm sorry. They just know. They know that they have the priority here. They know they have the aggressive possibility. They're running into these fights and absolutely shredding anyone. Ascent literally stands there to take the hook. Out comes the death sentence. Amumu is going to jump in as well. A bunch of damage coming out. Boise State thought they had it. Red Hots and Goblin on the backside. Going to find some kills here. Aqua going to find Hillboy, as it looks like Penguin Ninja is gonna get pizzaed in the face to death, bro. Aqua finds the other one. That is the Caitlyn down, and now Guapa is trying to run away. Never mind, just gonna sit there and heal up. Now Goblin is all by his lonesome, shredded by the Deepwater Assassin. And that is a huge exchange for both of these teams, leaving one remaining survivor aside.
Yeah, that is the one thing that Boise State does have, is that everyone jumped on to Aqua, and then Goblin said, all right, 80 carry, bro, you walk away. But right now, Aqua might be cut out, and that's a huge shutdown on the Guapa. Boise State has to be very, very careful of that assassin, but the flash does come out to survive the Kog'Maw passive.
Absolutely, and a great move, and great collapse there. Oh, I guess not collapse, it's one person, but that's what I was talking about, and my main concern for this Kog'Maw jungle is that that's going to happen pretty much every time he's caught out by himself. We saw the team fight work out, sure, to protect the Kog'Maw comp like we were talking about, but you also have a Sivir that you need to be kind of cautious and aware of as well. Surely not nearly as fed, but you got to put that priority. And again, Ascent is doing a great job of just tanking as much as he can. Boise State just bit off a little bit more they can chew there at the Baron, and we'll see if they can lick their wounds and come back even stronger. Still ahead 2K.
Yeah, I like how Boise State managed the double 80 carry. Is Ascent going to try and slam down Black Solo Cup, but there's help from Penguin.
Ascent again just getting the old 2v1. Here comes the third. And eventually Boise State's gonna have to respond to these 3-man roams. And they are filing in one by one, just like Ants Hurrah, and finding some great plays. But actually, Boise State is going to trade that, apparently, for a Baron attempt here.
And the word came out, Guapa knows where they are, and the rest of the team's rotating up. There's the ace in the hole. Gonna be not actually blocked. I thought Red Hot's got there, and now Boise State has to run away.
Oh boy, they are going to use the ultimate there from Goblin to just get everyone out as quick as possible. Very weird situation overall as far as what happened there. I mean, it didn't work once. I'm not entirely sure why they didn't just burn it down even quicker, peeling out at the last second to pull away. I mean, if you're going to go for that, you might as well fight for it. You need to finish it, or you're going to get punished just like they are here and could very well possibly lose a tower. Hook is going to come in, and it does find Red Hots. Wow, the damage out from Aqua is massive. Gummy Bear is gummy gone, as it looks like another shutdown coming in. Of course, that awesome jungle Kog'Maw that we had so many concerns about.
Yeah, Aqua once again proving that he can play nearly anything. Just give it smite. He is fantastic, 10-5, but I'm still very scared. We've talked about it, and we're probably going to talk about it again. Guapa, he can easily 1v1 probably anyone on this Boise State team at 8-2, especially Aqua, even as fed as he is. As Boise State is going to pick up a mid-inhibitor turret, and now they're going to get engaged on.
And a nice CC chain there is exactly what I was talking about. The tantrum to the ultimatum. Boise State looking for something here, and the damage from the Cog was actually quite a bit. Pizzas to the face. Black Solo Cup is out. 80 carry trying to peel out as well. And it looks like Boise State is going to get out. Never mind. Here comes Guapa. Oh, fancy feet from Goblin is going to make Guapa go see an orthopedic surgeon for those broken ankles. But, oh no, still able to catch up. So much speed. Ultimate is down. What looked like the promised land turns out to be an unfortunate situation there for Boise State.
This might turn into a Baron for Dixie State. We have Ascent in the bot lane, no teleport. He is going to jump on that bot inhibitor. I'm very shocked he isn't actually going for the mid inhibitor that's fully exposed. Red Hots is there. See if he can make a play, but right now that Baron health bar melting very quickly.
Yeah, he's just trying to do the best that he can, trying to get in there, gonna be destroyed. Gummy Hat is removed. Baron is picked up but you do have Ascent picking up a tower there, and still feeling pretty confident, and rightfully so as it appears. Those minions, though, are a little bit too much for him to handle.
Yeah, the next 3 minutes and counting going to be very crucial for Dixie State. As we can see there on the crucial Baron timer, those empowered minions should stop any chance Boise State has of picking up an inhibitor in the mid or bot lane. Ascent now quickly trying to rush down the Cloud Drake, put Boise State on Drake Point. Ward comes out. There's the hook. It's only going to land on the Dragon, so Boise State going to put themselves at least on Soul Point here. Going to make up for that Baron, but they still got 2 minutes and 25 seconds to contend of empowered minions.
Yeah, just a good setup there, able to burn it down as quick as possible. And again, that's what we're talking about. So long as Aqua doesn't get too cocky, here's the situation. In comes the teleport. Boise State is trying to do what they can. Ultimate burn there from the Sivir as well, as it looks like Guapa gonna be burned down. Boise State looking oh so great as Black Solo Cup left all by their lonesome. With the Baron buffs, with all of their members and a late arriving Boise State team, they're not able to capitalize. Boise State should win this one, and oh my goodness, less than like 10 health.
Yes, unfortunately the Baron should survive, but this should be at least one inhibitor for Boise State, if not two. The bot lane one fully exposed as well, and even with Aqua being caught out there, the Quicksilver Sash tried to use that to stay alive. Boise State says, yes, he might be fed, but the rest of us have damage as well. Please respect that, Dixie State. Only losing their most fed member in that fight and still winning. Just incredible as they'll pick up a second inhibitor, but now they've got to get out.
Yeah, turn, tail, and run. You got everything you needed and then some, and there is not much more on top of that. So, you know, at this point, just try to get out of here because Black Solo Cup is hungry. Still has their Baron buff. I completely forgot that they survived. Ultimate going to be burned there by the Sivir, as the rest of Boise State should be able to get out of here now just fine, including the wins.
Yeah, so now if you're Dixie State, you put Black Solo Cup in a lane. Hard lane to pick as their supers in mid and bot, so maybe top, but there's still every turret alive. He's the only one with Baron buff. His teleport should be up relatively soon, and you allow him to split push with that Ravenous Hydra, but Boise State eliminating 4 of those Baron buffs, showing that they can do it even without Aqua in that fight. For Dixie State, you have to start wondering, how do the pieces come together? They killed the Kog'Maw, and they still lost the fight. So how do you focus? You tried putting everything on Aqua, and it didn't work.
I think the big piece here is, well, if you get a nice catch out here from Guapa, oh, nice flash out, and the, wow, very long ace in the hole is going to find that Kog'Maw there. Explosion, not a whole lot based on the build there, but the rest of Boise State is here to follow it through. I don't even remember what my original point was going to be because we got a fight on our hands. Red Hot is going to be caught out as Hillboy is just disappearing as far as his health bar is concerned. Here is the Penguin Ninja. Burns the ult, nothing happens. Boise State wasn't even there, and they are going to just dive on through. The Mummy is next in the line as Black Solo Cup becomes the furry little critter for Goblin to devour. Penguin here chased down by the Croc. They're not really natural enemies. Burns the stopwatch. He's a Golden Gator nonetheless. Boise State should be able to finish the game and pick up the series.
Yeah, just Guapa alive. He does have the ultimate very, very soon if he can slam resets, but it might not matter. The turret's going to go down. He's going to pick up one on the Goblin. Ascent just backing in his face. Doesn't look like it's even going to matter. Boise State trying to rush down the Nexus, but the respawns might have come out in time. Guapa might have actually saved the game for Dixie State for now.
What a cool guy. What, like, totally not disrespectful in any way, shape, or form to, you know, not close out the game and instead to head back home and buy more items, so now you can really come back and close the game. I mean, you know, do what you gotta do, man. When it's me and you get to that situation, we're rushing down that Nexus without question.
Yeah.
Instead, we're gonna get a dance here from Red Hot, so I guess that one.
Yeah, you're yelling at your teammates, please attack the Nexus, please attack the Nexus, because everyone's had the game is that's gonna be another pick onto Aqua where some guy BMs and then there's a huge comeback by the other team and you're like, if you attacked the Nexus 20 minutes ago, we'd be done. But now you're still here, so, and that pick, by the way, huge. It's not going to be enough to keep him dead while Dragon respawns, but it is still a point for Boise State, and they would have loved to have that Cloud Soul.
I'd be curious to see if Boise State can 4v5 anyways at this point. Again, they're not that far ahead, but the way that they're fighting, so long as they're not getting caught out, the team fight mechanics from Boise State have been super strong, but Dixie State has just been finding them with their pants down just about everywhere in the jungle, their jungle, my jungle. It's ridiculous. So hopefully Boise can, I guess they're going to be gifted a soul? I'm not so sure here.
Yeah, it looks like, or at least for now, Boise State full control. Ascent in the top lane, no teleport. Guapa, by the way, does have that Guardian's Angel that Boise State has to take care of, so he's going to be even more slippery to kill, as Goblin at least has ideas to maybe try and get a pick here.
Yeah, just kind of pressuring him out here. You already saw the hook went down. Now he can try to do the best that he can. Gonna burn his ultimate, but probably wouldn't have liked to have saved that for something else. But looks the flash, and is gonna burn the Guardian Angel. But Goblin, you're all by your lonesome. Where's the team? Red Hawk is going to be hooked in there, is able to get out with the smoke screen. Black Solo Cup is getting torn apart there as Ascent finds him in the top lane and says, shut up, Adam, I got this. He's gonna push here for the Nexus all by his luck.
Well, Red Hots will join him here for the last little bit, but yeah, Ascent gonna get some revenge on us, talking about him backing with an exposed Nexus. He'll close the game out in Boise State. You were right, Chizu, a lot closer than game one, but a similar result. Boise State victorious there against Dixie State. So good job to the Broncos, really started to find their footing and win their second match in a row.
I don't want to be that guy, but again, Boise State just showing me that anything can kind of be possible here. Again, I say kind of because I guarantee if I took that Kog'Maw into jungle, it would not go nearly as well. So a little bit of a grace from the RNG gods, if you will, that worked out. I don't think they'll be taking that into any major tournaments anytime soon, despite how unbelievably successful it was. But a great series all around it nonetheless.
Yeah, and I really just love the double 80 carry play there for Boise State, because Goblin was able to get fed enough to where, as we saw, he could chase down Guapa there, but he was also able to say, all right, Aqua, you're low health, you run away, let's shift all the damage onto Sivir now, and he was able to get those eliminations. So it was sort of this, instead of there's 280 carries, it was almost there's always 180 carry, no matter who you focus down, Dixie State, and I think that was really sort of where it turned. Aqua got picked one or two times, but Goblin said, hey, I got you, fam. We're going to do the same amount of damage. I'll make up for it. So I loved how Boise State played it, as you mentioned. I don't know if we'll see that in any major tournament, but just proving that it's possible, adding to the respect bans for Aqua is going to be huge, because one of these days there'll be 5 Aqua bans, and that will be probably an instant lock rumble for Ascent if we ever get to that.
Yeah, and I want to bring up as well, I brought up the Dixie team's ultimates. They had an opportunity, but they only found Aqua. We saw the Amumu in with the Hextech ultimatum on top of it, but you can't just do that with one guy, and that's when things really started to fall apart. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more clear, concise team fighting from the side of Dixie, but again, you have to give credit to Boise State. That was full momentum, dive the line, and shred through anything in the way kind of a comp. It's very interesting. I like what I'm seeing, so I may have to eat my words when it shows up, later in the season for some kind of major tournament. But, I mean, you've got the movement speed from the Lulu. You've got the ultimate from Sivir. You're going to want to get that Kog'Maw in as fast as possible. And, oh, by the way, Akali and your Croc Boy can just jump on in. Renekton can just shred the backline, or frontline for that point. So I really like this draft, and Boise State showing, picking up a win, man. Feels good.
Yeah, a win feels great for Boise State. Hopefully that'll put them on the right foot there. That was just a show match. They do have the UCI Best Coast Tournament, one of their games tomorrow, so you want to make sure you come back for that. So maybe that'll propel them into a victory, as we do have our player of the game, and this is a tough one, Chizu. There's a ton of good names. Is there any pick for you on who it might be?
It pains me to say it. Not like it pains me because I'm not happy about it, but just Red Hots is that number 2 spot tonight, because I've got to give it to Aqua. Just the way that the jungle worked today blew my mind, and that's going to just be where I'm going to leave it at. I mean, we saw a Kog'Maw jungle absolutely destroy today. What even is this game anymore?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to say you're getting distracted by the pentakill, Chizu. I think Red Hots was sort of the driving force in Game 1. That Malphite was just a thorn in the side of Dixie State. You're not going to have the flashy damage numbers. You're maybe not going to have the flashy kills because you are a tank, but I loved how he played that Malphite. And then, of course, you get to put him on Akali in the top lane. You're going to make that champion work in a lane she probably hasn't worked in since 2015. I have to go with Red Hots there, but you're right. It's so close. It's like Red Hots, Aqua, and then I thought Ascent really played well. They're really 1, 2, 3, and then the bot lane for Boise State, even with Dean out, 80 carry, and Goblin showing up as well. It's really just that close, but I got to go with Red Hots. I love the Malphite and the Akali play. It was just fantastic to see.
Well, and seeing Goblin on the Sivir was reminiscent of like early days for him as well. And of course, 80 carry just being called in today. So he was not even supposed to be at work. So let's see who we got.
It is going to be Ascent, actually. So, you know what? Like I said, they were all very, very close. And I have to say, when his Rumble's banned away and the fact that he made the Azir and the Renekton work, I totally understand it because he's just adding to, please don't ban Rumble because I'm just going to dunk on you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it very well deserved as well. It didn't really. It's always great when you don't have to worry about your mid laner. You know, he's not going 0-2 in lane in the early points of the game. And in fact, is finding really awesome setups and plays for the rest of his team. There's a reason Boise State found this guy and brought him onto the crew. Seen working again. This is a well-oiled state machine that we haven't seen in quite a while, and it was headed here by Ascent.
Yeah, Ascent is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Idaho Central Credit Union believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. So Ascent picking up his first Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game for Boise State in his new role. It took him 4 games, but he's definitely showing that he is a force to be reckoned with, even when that Rumble is taken away.
He's from Björnsknerf, Iceland. I tried.
Nailed it. You definitely nailed it. You 100% nailed it. I'm sure that
Björnsknerf.
If that's not how they pronounce it, they've now changed the pronunciation because of you, how confident you were with that, Chizu.
Yeah, you know me. I've been to Iceland many times. We'll have to ask him about it next time we get an interview with him. But Boise State really showed up today. This was a very, very tough decision as to who was going to end up being player of the game. And I'm just glad. It had been a little while. It had been a spell. It had been a minute. I got to cast a Boise State knockdown drag him out of this proportion, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing now as we continue through the season.
And Boise State snapping the losing streak in League of Legends, picking up their first and second game victories of the season, and then their first series victory of the season. Of course, just a show match, but everything counts. But tomorrow is when it really matters. It will be the UCI Best Coast Invitational. Boise State taking on Michigan State, and definitely seeing if the Broncos can turn this win into a win on that. And by the way, last 2 times these teams met, it was on a green field, and I believe the Spartans won. So Boise State maybe 8 years ago going to take some vengeance on the Spartans. But make sure you come back for that, of course. We'll be here. At least Fish and Chizu will be here tomorrow for that. So you want to tune in for that. But I love, as you mentioned, it's been a little bit since we've cast a win for Boise State. The confidence is there. I think this is going to be maybe a turnaround game for the Broncos. They might find some great footing here in a Best Coast tournament's only halfway done. There's still 2 more weeks for the Broncos to maybe get back to 500 and sneak into playoffs and make some crazy things happen. So love what I saw tonight.
Absolutely, man. And it's just signs of good things to come. Even if things, don't necessarily pan out to tomorrow, next week, or whatever. The fact that they were able to take that draft and do such nasty damage with it is just case in point for the program, for the team. Dixie did an amazing job as well. Like I said, those games were very, very close until they exploded in one team fight. And even then, in that second game, stayed pretty close. So, yeah, we'll be here, man. It's only been 12 hours since I've seen you last. So I guess it's going to be another 12 hours before I see you again, unless we're queuing as we get out of here.
Yeah, maybe we'll run it back. Maybe we'll convince our teammates, hey, let me go Kog'Maw in the jungle. It's going to work out really well. But we will leave you with our top 5 plays from tonight. You probably want to stick around for number 1. I'm just going to tell you, it's pretty sick. But for Fish, Chizu, the production staff, the 2 Boise State League members who were in attendance tonight, thank you so much. And make sure you're back here 6 o'clock tomorrow for UCI Best Coast, Boise State, Michigan State.
Little critter for Goblin to devour. Penguin here chased down by the Croc. They're not really natural enemies. They can ultimate burn there from the Sivir as well, as it looks like Wappa gonna be burned down. Boise State looking oh so great as Black Solo Cup left all by their lonesome. It's the
Baron buffs with all of their members and a late arriving Boise State team. They're not able to capitalize. Boise minutes, like you mentioned. Looks like we may have a scuffle here for the next Dragon. Boise State does need to find one. Wow, Gummy Hat is gonzo. In jumps Red Hot's the ultimate there to follow up from Yone, and everybody jumping in. They're throwing all that they can. In jumps the Emperor of Sands and is going to just beat those over to Sione.
Heel comes out. He'll flash away from the bandage toss. He's going to get hooked in. There's the Lulu shield. A nice flash, though, by Gummy Hat. And that's just unfortunate for Boise State as he misses the Kog'Maw ult. Some incredible play. A Penguin going to try and go in, but he's out of mana. The micro from everyone involved was insane.
Is the Shurima shuffle, and the rest of Dixie State is disappearing member by member. Leona is going to be gone. Yone finds yet another one. Thanks for teleporting in. Is that going to be the 5-letter penta? We're about to find out as Yone gets